and if necessary, total replacements. Our pros come to your site, assess your roofing needs, and then give you a range of options to fit your budget. And we'd love to work with you. For roof maintenance and repair, contact us today at roofworks.com. That's roof, WERKS.com.
At First Carolina Bank, we pride ourselves on building relationships and doing the day-to-day things in banking extremely well. Experience the First Carolina way for yourself or your business today. Visit firstcarolinabank.com. First Carolina Bank, member FDIC.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs.
Assuming Jankowski is fit and ready to go, the way he played when he came in the New Jersey series, Jankowski for me in the lineup. And, you'd have a couple of decisions to make when you look at however you number them, your third and fourth line centers, when you take, of course, Aho and Stahl out of the equation as to who he'd come in for. But, yes, assuming, and it is my assumption that Jankowski's good to go, Jankowski would go in the lineup for me.
Are you insinuating that it's between Roslovic or Kotkaniemi that comes out?
As an analyst, yes.
Juicy! Hi, everyone. It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria is here.
Yes.
It's a game 2.
I know.
Thursday.
Hockey night in Carolina.
So, if you are watching on YouTube, because there is work to be done today, I am rolling up my sleeves.
Oh, you're prepared. Yet?
Not yet.
You're meaning business when you roll
yet,
up the sleeves.
exactly. But I'm not yet prepared. So, Hurricanes did not have a morning skate today, but still, I was at the arena for media availability, and it started about 20 minutes later than it should have. So we're scrambling a little bit, but I am rolling up my sleeves. If I had more time, I would have already done this.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. I don't have sleeves to roll up with you, but
You are sleeveless
in my
today.
mind.
You
I'm
are
doing
sleeveless
that.
today. You are, but you're grinding, as we say on Thursdays. Obviously a lot of stuff that will be pertinent to Game 2 today. That was Trip Tracy. He'll be part of the pregame show. If you are local, you can always hear it. We'll go on the air at 7 o'clock today. Just after 8 o'clock start. I believe it's an 8:12 scheduled drop of the opening faceoff.
Random.
Well, I mean, they're always 8:08. So because playoffs, we need 4 minutes for extra, I don't know.
They got to roll up their sleeves, too. That's what they're doing.
Yes, but we have an extra hour to do that.
True.
So we're 7 o'clock with Stormwatch, which is the pregame show. If you are listening out in the mountains or over by the beach or down maybe a different part of the state, we are, you could find us, you can stream it. We don't do that on YouTube. We don't. We should.
What's that?
Maybe we do. The Stormwatch.
I
don't
thought
believe
you were
we do
talking
that on
about
YouTube.
streaming. I was
No,
like,
we do this.
Yeah, we're
this show we stream.
Yeah, we're definitely
You
there.
could have actually seen me roll my sleeves up.
Yes.
So by all means, do that. And when you do, stream the show, like it, subscribe, do all of that. We like to know who's out there.
Mm-hmm.
So we started with Trip Tracy. Now Trip insinuated at some lineup changes, and I'm going to start there because I was out and I observed some things that I think matter. So let's go. So, I don't know what the status of Jalen Chatfield is for tonight. I did ask Rod Brind'Amour, and I'll bring you that interview. It's really nothing earth-shattering here. They hope Chatfield will play.
I hope so, too.
Okay? Like I said before Game 1, my conversation with Rod, I took away that he doesn't believe that Chatfield will be ready until we get to Florida. So Games 3 and 4, Saturday and Monday. But Chatfield did skate in the morning. Rod alludes to that, and we'll get to that in just a few minutes. But what is likely to happen if Chatfield can't go is that Scott Morrow would stay in the lineup. Now, the theory behind it, to me, is one of two things. One, he can't possibly make the mistakes he just made again, because guys like that learn from their mistakes. I think he'll be better. Also, if it is Morrow, my guess is we'll see a lot less of Scott Morrow than we did in Game 1 of the series. And I don't think it would matter no matter who played, whether it was Alexander Nikishin, who Rod clearly doesn't want to use for a couple of reasons that we've already gotten into, and it doesn't matter if Hurricanes Twitter can't digest them. Or Riley Stillman, who is an option because he has played in the NHL. I just think they're going to use 5 defensemen. I just do. They're going to play 5 defensemen, and Scott Morrow is likely going to take a few shifts here and there, but more likely than not, if Chatfield can't play, Morrow will be there to make sure the bench doesn't tip over.
Right.
Just to keep, he'll be on the other end of the seesaw,
right?
But the camera's never going to be on him. So, they're going to play 5 defensemen tonight against Florida, is my guess. And that might go for even if Chatfield does play. I do think we are going to see Mark Jankowski draw into the lineup. And I do think we are going to see Jesperi Kotkaniemi come out of the lineup. And this is for a lot of people who love Kotkaniemi, even though he has not played to the level that would, demand your love. This is going to be a little bit difficult for people to deal with because I don't know how many, 10th highest paid player, I'm guessing. I'm honestly in my brain trying to go through it. He might be higher than that. Shouldn't be a healthy extra in a playoff game you need to win. And before people lose their minds, this ain't going to be about the head coach. It's about Jesperi. You can't possibly believe that he has not been given opportunities to show what he's worth. Can't possibly believe that. Now, what I hope here is because I know what his potential can be. He's not the 3rd pick in the draft potential, but he can be a good player. What my hope is that he takes this because it is a shot to the ego. You were supposed to be this team's number 2 center, and now you are their number 5 center.
Not good.
That's bad. I hope he takes this, and I hope he takes it personally, and I hope it motivates him, because the best version of Jesperi is a version that can help this team. But he needs to get to the best version of him, and right now, he's not. So I think Jankowski's going to draw in, and my guess he will slot right in where Kotkaniemi was between Robinson and Jackson Blake. And by the way, Blake needs to be better too.
Yes,
That's
please.
Another story altogether. I got tons of things I want to get to here. But tonight, and we're going to step away from hockey just for a second. We're going to get back, Rod. We'll present the interview with Rod Brind'Amour coming up in a few minutes. But this is a game that it doesn't matter how it looks. The only thing that matters in this game is math. Mm-hmm. And it's simple math. Who has the most goals? Doesn't matter how it looks. Carolina's going to play the way Carolina plays, right? They're not changing their game because, frankly, that would be dumb.
Yeah, we don't want that.
Right? They're going to play their game, and they're going to hope it's enough. Florida is the best team. I'm going to talk about narratives later because the narratives are laughable to me. But we'll get to them. But the only thing that matters tonight is winning the game. And we don't have to shy away from the fact that they have to win tonight. I mean, it's not one of those you lose and you're eliminated. they'll play 2 more games at least. But if you want to win the series, honestly, tonight's got to be a win.
Yeah.
Flat out. We don't have to hide from that fact.
You don't want to go to Florida down 2 games.
No,
At all.
not at all. And even if Florida isn't as good at home as they are on the road, and right now, so far in this series, they really haven't been as good. Well, not in this series, but in the playoffs, it's about the same. They've been awesome everywhere, but they have been a little bit more vulnerable on home ice than they have been on the road. Anyway, regardless of what I just said, Canes got to win a game tonight. End of story. We don't have to go any further. All right, a couple of other things. According to, I was looking at Brian Murphy, our friend from WRAL TV5, sports investigative reporter.
Yeah.
Says that UNC is exploring selling naming rights to Kenan Stadium, a corporate sponsor at Kenan Stadium. So I mean, first of all, I would always say that, yes, find revenue streams wherever you can find revenue streams. It's not even, it shouldn't even be a discussion. Find revenue streams. So what do you think? I'm workshopping this.
Okay.
Toys of Eros Stadium. That's Jordan Hudson's mom's
Right.
emporium
I like it.
and museum from Provincetown.
I like it.
You like that?
Kind of like a spin-off.
Welcome to UNC's Toys of Eros Stadium. Keenan, but whatever.
Batteries not included.
Wow. Well done. I'm writing that down. Batteries not included. Yeah, so I got no, but look, obviously that's the joke, but this bothers people.
Yeah.
People. These universities are trying to squeeze every last dollar they can out of athletics. Every last dollar. We talked to Jay Billis about this earlier in the week. I am firmly of the belief that even today, the universities don't really want to pay the players. They don't want the players to make all of this money. They look at the athlete empowerment era as an annoyance, a nuisance, an impediment to the way business used to get done. And it was always so much simpler when they got nothing, we got everything, and we knew that our rosters were going to be static. Those days are long over, but that doesn't mean that the people who run these schools don't want it to still be the case. But because of court decisions, they have been dragged kicking and screaming to the other side. Thankfully. So they are talking the good game. Oh, I want the players to make money. Of course you do. You just suddenly had this epiphany.
Yeah.
Fine. I'm glad we all got here. And they are faced with a pretty steep bill to pay the players. Not only the back pay that has to go out, but the pay for the current players. And they're calling it revenue sharing, but this is revenue that the universities want to earmark for other things, and now they've got to direct $22 million to either former or current athletes, and they don't want to do that because they don't want to change all the other things. So what they're going to do is we're going to cut sports, even though well before the big money era of sports in college, we had all these sports.
Mm-hmm.
So somehow, remember I said the other day that the ACC in 2000 distributed $9 million to each school 2 years ago, or the fiscal 23-24 season, they distributed $45 million.
Right.
So what is that? A 500% increase, right? 9 to 45 is a 500%. I think that's the math.
It's a lot.
So even though they had all these sports back when they just had $9 million, to spend. Now we're cutting sports because we have to direct money to athletes. Like, miss me with that. Mm-hmm. Anyway, long story short, the university should look at every avenue they can to bring more revenue in.
Yeah.
So if it's selling naming rights to Kenan Stadium or to the Dean Smith Center or to whatever building is coming next or whatever renovation, sell the naming rights. I'm only half kidding when I said this on this show months ago. I would put a corporate logo every 10 yards on the football field.
Yeah, why not?
Right? And if you snap a ball at the 15-yard line, everything between the 10 and the 20 is like Subway. Mm-hmm. And they're on the Subway 16-yard line.
Right.
I would so do that. I would sell everything.
Yep.
I would sell every inch of everything.
Yep.
I would put a corporate logo on Jordan Hudson's long Carolina Argyle jacket. Mm-hmm. I would put corporate logos on everything. Get as much money as you can. We don't know how long it's going to last.
Yeah.
Make as much money as you can.
And that's what it's all about, making money.
That's the only thing that it's really about. Because we stopped really caring about the athletes and the landscape and the sport as a whole. And I know that there are people who like to think otherwise, but that is just the truth. Anyway, I'm fascinated by how this is going to play out. Georgia Tech had a McDonald's logo on their basketball court years ago. Like, don't accuse me of watching Georgia Tech basketball now, so I don't know if they still have it.
Yeah.
But it's okay. Everything should sell it. I mean, we watch, you watch NASCAR.
Yeah.
Boom.
Ads everywhere.
Everywhere. If you watch golf or you watch tennis, these athletes are walking billboards.
Yep.
I would sell my forehead if somebody would pay for it.
All right.
I'd tattoo whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
Even a temporary tattoo. Just
Aluminum Company of North Carolina, put it right on my forehead. Yeah. All right. With all of that said, we have game 2 tonight. I caught up with head coach Rod Brind'Amour.
What needs to be different tonight?
The result, obvious.
Boils down to that.
It really does. I mean, I know everyone's, you got to change all this stuff. What do you do differently? You're holding a team that's pretty dynamic. Their top guys, we're not a factor.
Right.
You're like, okay, they got 20 shots again. We're 5. I mean, I looked through the game. We're like, where were we going? Oh, great save, Freddie. Mm-hmm. Do you remember one?
No.
So that's my point. Like,
right.
You're going to give up 3, 4, 5 grade A's. We had 7. They had 5. It's the kind of game it is. We got to get a goal. We got to find a way to break through. And we can't be changing anything and be like, open up, because now we're giving up 10, 50. These guys score. They've done it. They've done it all playoffs. When you give them an opportunity, it's all their guys. It's not just their top end guys. So I felt like, we got to find a way to get to the net a little harder. They do a great job of no seconds. You watch their D in front, mm-hmm. Our guys are on the ground, cross-check, whatever it is, it's like there's no second opportunities. So that's where we got to try to find those, get pucks through. They did a nice job blocking a lot of our shots. But everyone does that at this time of year. I mean, I think we had the same amount of blocks as them. We had the same amount of hits. Like, it's the game's right there. We just, obviously, the special teams, we got to win that battle. So to take those off the board, it's a different game. So I think there's a lot to like about the game. The result sucks. We gotta find a way to win one.
How do you avoid falling into the trap that they're setting with all the post-whistle stuff?
Yeah, I don't know what you do about that. The refs got to take control of that.
Right.
Like, the other night, like, there you go again. Like, that's a terrible call on Fishy that leads to a goal. So now, like, that should have been at the very least even.
Or nothing.
Or nothing. Or, you could even say, what did Fishy really do?
I agree.
We can't control that. That has to be controlled from the other thing. If they're not going to, we just got to stay out of it. You can't risk taking penalties. I think they're okay with taking the penalty, it feels like.
Right.
But for whatever reason, and it's been strange because the whole playoffs, all the scrums, we end up getting the short end of it, and we're not the ones initiating. Maybe we need to initiate it more. I don't know. I don't want to start that because that's just – you're asking for trouble.
I was watching you on the bench after that call. There's a fine line because you can argue, and then all of a sudden they get how do you get up to that line where they don't hit you?
Well, I wasn't even – what are you going to say? I just said, well, what are we doing here? And, the other guy said I didn't see it, and, that's what always happens. But at this point with the refs – other than the one, we have a good relationship, and they just say, I don't see it. I'm sorry. Like, what are you going to say?
Right.
So there's not much you can do. Yeah, and they're good about it. And then, I didn't really even vent much. It's, what are you going to do? So that's stuff you can't control. We totally don't worry about the uncontrollables, right?
Okay.
That's nothing we can control.
Shane Gostisbehere admitted to shooting the puck at Brad Marchand. Andre skated in, gave Bob a little extra. That's one of them is not necessarily playoffs. One is because it's happened to Freddie. Are you concerned at all that Florida's going to retaliate with that, or you expect?
I think they would do it anyway, right? That's it's how it gets called, and you're trying to push the limits, and I think we want to get to the net hard like that and without taking penalties, and that's probably what you want to do. You don't want to risk. We did take 2 ozone penalties in that game, and that's not what you want to do.
Lineup, Chatfield. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. He skated this morning. I haven't even talked to him yet, but didn't look 100%. So it's tough for a guy who skates the way he does if he's not feeling 100% to go in. Obviously, we need him. It's a big hole for us, and we don't really have an answer for it, so we'd love to see him play.
If he can't, is it Scott again?
Maybe. It's Scott or Nicky. They both it's a tough spot to put them in. I think if we stay with Scotty, it's because the rhythm, you're just playing in the game. I know he had a couple of tough plays, but really, the one goal is not his fault. Everyone's saying it's his fault. It wasn't. It was the missed forecheck that didn't finish the D that started it. Go back and look at that. That's what caused that goal.
Sure.
And the other one's not his fault off a face-off. That's the other D leaving his guy. And, the penalty is high flipper. We don't want those, but that happens. So if Nicky goes in, now we're putting a guy in another tough spot who hasn't played in a while. So I think if we have to use someone for Chatty, it'd probably be Scotty just for the rhythm part of things. All
right, final thing, and I know you're going to hate it, but I'm just curious. All these narratives about having won a conference finals game, boring hockey, playoff disappointment, none of these things really make sense to me. They keep getting asked of the players. How do they avoid getting...
You don't. It's too bad that narrative got brought up. We play the same game as they do. Mm-hmm. They do it even better than we do, obviously. And you watch, what is boring about them?
Nothing.
And it's more than we do it. You watch, it's high flips out of the zone. It's zero play. It's every time they get a chance to shoot it, they shoot it. They finish all their checks. That's what we've been doing. The game's 100% the same. They just have done it better, and they've been able to score at a higher rate. But the game plan, everything is the exact same. We've been doing this for 7 years. They did it for 2 years, and suddenly now it's and someone just said it because I think where we do maybe even a better job is we suppress the other team's shots. Right. So it's where's the action from them? But that's on them. That's not on us. I think it's a tough narrative to create for the players in here because this whole system is based on aggressiveness. There's no one that's more aggressive than us, except now maybe them.
Yeah.
And we've done this for a while. You know what I mean? And so that's tough to put out there.
Now they have a Hall of Famer on their third line.
Yeah.
Marchand's pretty good.
And they added Seth Jones, who was an all-star player, if I remember correctly. That to me is where they really did a good job. They were already the Stanley Cup champs, and you add that makes it tough. So we know we're in one, but I like I said, if we can maintain how we need to do things, we can't try to change the way we play. That would never work.
Right.
It's just being more detailed. Obviously, those couple goals, we could have been better on the kill. We had a little mess up on the one. And again, that's probably because Chatfield's not there. It's those are things at this time of year you just, can't have.
Rod Brind'Amour, the head coach of the Carolina Hurricanes. All right, lots to do in this hour. Some national perspective coming on this series and the playoffs in general. Kyle Bukauskas from SportsNet, also co-host of the 32 Thoughts, the podcast with Elliot Friedman. He is going to join us when we come back. TNT's Eddie Olczyk will join us toward the back end of the hour. We got a lot of stuff to do. I am Adam Gold. Victoria is here. Kyle Bukauskas joins us next.
Talking sports, dropping truth. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Let's go! It's the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Here's Svechnikov, 2 minutes remaining. Svechnikov for top angle. He scores!
Let's go, Canes!
Hall all alone. In on Thompson. Hall scores!
Go, Canes!
Wide open. Rebound. And what a save by Anderson!
The Canes' road to the Stanley Cup runs through us. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle sports leader.
This Memorial Day weekend, honor those who served by staying safe. Use a rideshare or a designated driver if you celebrate too much. Don't let a DUI ruin your life. From your friends at 99.9 The Fan and Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
Make your next tailgate more electric when you plug into a new Ford F-150 or Super Duty truck. Not only do they light up the scoreboard with outstanding payload and towing numbers, with available Pro Power on board, you can turn these Ford trucks into mobile generators to give your tailgate party an extra boost of energy. Visit your Carolina Ford dealer or buyfordnow.com for great offers and to learn more about F-150 and Super Duty. See Owner's Manual for important operating instructions.
Charlie did not die from an overdose. Charlie was poisoned.
No other family should go through this. It's just horrific.
Go to safe.pharmacy. Use the free tool. Learn if the online pharmacy you're using is safe.
Out on credit cards, struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated the kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166171 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Hey girl, haven't seen you downtown lately.
Nope, sticking to our go-to places.
You mean like Sharky's?
Well, we love our Sharky's. Best wings and gumbo on the planet. But we never miss the $5 sangrias on Wednesdays at the new Salt and Lime and Mexican pints on Thursdays for $3.
You know my boy loves the House of Hops. No better selection of craft beer in the state. Loves their specials, their food trucks, and you know I love my wine. They have a wonderful selection.
And have I told you about our new takeout spot, Che Empanadas? It's right next to Sharky's. They have 20 different types of authentic Argentinian empanadas, and they are incredible, especially the breakfast ones. You gotta try it.
Sounds perfect. And how awesome is it that they're so close to each other?
Yes.
Give them a try. Che Empanadas, House of Hops, Salt and Lime, and Sharky's. Just a hop, skip, and a jump from each other off Durham Road, Glenwood, and Grove Barton.
When you think of hot, you might think about the tragic time you ate too much wasabi.
Oh, no.
Or about getting into your car on a summer day when it feels more like stepping into a sauna. But heat can work in your favor, like during Verizon Red Hot Deal Days. Get hundreds of hot deals on all your favorites, like iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence, Apple Watch Series 10, and iPad on any plan. Only until May 28th for new and existing customers. Offer available on My Plan. Only at Verizon.
This is Adam Gold.
And I did have to use two screens at one point, or a couple of points, and I don't like it. I can't watch two games at the same time.
There's a lot going on.
I'm sorry. I'm incapable of doing that. Because there were times where, I forgot this other game was on in front of me.
Yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
It is the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. Not sure you've heard, but there is a Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals tonight at Lenovo Center. Looks like it will be a lovely day. And when we get to the conference final round, the stars come out. And one of those stars is Kyle Bukauskas, who is the ringside host on SportsNet and Hockey Night in Canada, co-host of 32 Thoughts, the podcast with Elliot Friedman, that other guy. And as it turns out, I'm reading obviously from his Twitter bio, a Campbell River native, just like the head coach, Rod Brind'Amour. I don't think you guys knew each other growing up. I think he's significantly older than you. But I hear only great people come out of Campbell River.
Yeah. Well, at least one in Rod Brind'Amour. That's for sure, Adam. Yes. No, he did not know me growing up, but I certainly knew him. I think in 2006 we may have been one of the only towns in all of Canada that were cheering for, or maybe Calgary as well, I guess, that were cheering for Carolina over Edmonton in the final that year. I'll never forget the afternoon of going down to the city center there and seeing the Stanley Cup in person when he brought it back to his hometown. And it was unreal, because for years, he did a charity golf tournament to raise money for cystic fibrosis, and that usually would come like Father's Day weekend. And of course, it was pushed back a bit that year because they went all the way to Game 7 and won the Stanley Cup. But it was unreal when you look back at how soon after that game was played, and then there he was in Campbell River with Stanley Cup in hand. I believe Mike Commodore came out with him too. But just logistically, back in the hometown, but they turned that around quickly for him so he could attend the golf event. That was really neat.
That is awesome. So just because I'm curious now, because it is 19 years ago. What were you, like 8?
Not quite. I just 2006 would have been just shy of my 13th birthday when that happened.
Okay, so I wasn't that far off, Kyle. You have risen to great heights at a young age. I appreciate you cutting out some time, because obviously we all have thoughts about Game 2. But before we get to Game 2, what ultimately were your thoughts about Game 1?
Well, I mean, it was, kind of a similar feeling to, working the series when they played Florida in the conference final 2 years ago, where you look at how they played and go to really pick apart and be critical of. But, you look at, they didn't give up a ton of chances to Florida. The difference was, like, when the Panthers got their opportunities, they capitalized. And I'm not even looking at really any of them, and you're saying, well, that was the goal that Frederick Anderson, you can't give up that one. Like, they were elite-level finishes in most cases, or through a screen, different things like that. The challenge, I think, as this series goes on, and I think what a lot of us thought going in, is that when those opportunities pop up for Carolina, like, you can't let them slide. Like, you've got to be able to convert, knowing how difficult this is going to be and how well defensively Florida plays, and of course the goalie they have and their end of things. Like, Bobrovsky's going to have a say in all of this too. So it's a tall task, and you could just tell, like, in listening to Brind'Amour there, whether it's at the podium and or the conversations we have just in the right shoulder chat after the fact. Like he's just going like it. There's not much else you can do as a coach. You think you prepared him well. You've got a system that's worked all year for this group. Just those that are paid to score and deliver in these moments just got to find a way to do that enough.
Kyle Bukauskas is joining us here from SportsNet. You can follow him on Twitter, although you don't tweet very much, but I'll just give it out because why not? SportsNet Kyle is on Twitter. I think it's been a minute. Going back to like what Rod said to you, what Rod said to me, because I've already done my pregame chat with him, because they've gone back and gone through the game, and he goes, we allowed them almost nothing. Until the third period, maybe, I don't think Florida generated a scoring chance, a good one on their own, apart from that one in the early part of the second period that made it 3-1, the 3-on-2. There were probably some missed assignments in there. The 3-on-2 that ultimately was finished by A.J. Greer. You can understand what Rod's thinking about. Like, we have really given them nothing, or they have created nothing, and yet we're still trailing.
Right, and so I think it goes back to, I know he's talked about it, and I think, even to an extent, like Paul Maurice is a big believer in this too, like where, if you keep doing the right things enough, like you stack those opportunities up enough and examples enough, like eventually it's going to go your way. I mean, it didn't for Carolina in game one, but I don't think it's I know the old definition of insanity, but I don't think it would apply here to you think for the Hurricanes, if they continue to operate the way that they have, it's gotten them to this point. You've got to trust at some point, there's going to be enough there that has them come through on the right side of things. I mean, the other part of it too, Adam, as like the penalty kill has been dynamite through the first two rounds of the playoffs, and then you give up two in game one. Like that makes it, a lot more difficult. I just, in watching, the Florida Panthers throughout not only this year, but the last number of years, spot them a lead at your own peril.
Yeah.
So that's going to be, I know it's always the feeling of, you want to have a good start, you want to score first. It just seems it's so critical against this team to not give them as a collective, or particularly Sergei Bobrovsky, a lead to work with, because they are as comfortable as any when it comes to being in those situations. Like it's unbelievable. So under Paul Maurice, though, you think of the last 3 years in the playoffs, they have not lost a game when they have a lead after the first period or after the second period. That's incredibly hard to do, and they just continue to deliver when they have a lead to play with.
Yeah, just ask Edmonton from last night. That was a stunning and quick turnaround to that game early in the third period, with the Stars scoring 3 times on the power play in like six or so minutes. Kyle Bukauskas from SportsNet is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. And then you add to what Florida is. And, the funny thing is that under the previous coach, Andrew Burnett, I think they won the President's Trophy, had 122 points, got bounced out in the second round of the playoffs by Tampa. And then Paul Maurice shows up. They get to the Stanley Cup Finals. They win a Stanley Cup. And, they're the favorites, the odds-on favorites right now to get back to the Stanley Cup Finals again. And he has brought his brand of defensive-oriented grittiness to a high-octane group. And now they just added Brad Marchand, who's taken their third line to maybe their best line.
Yeah, I really think, like you touched on, that 2022 year winning the President's Trophy. I think in hindsight, the best thing that happened to the Florida Panthers, when you look at this edition, this era of their franchise, the best thing that happened to them was being swept by Tampa in the second round that year. I covered that series. Tampa got through an absolute gauntlet of a first round against Toronto that year. It went 7 games. Everything was tight. They were a wounded animal coming into Florida. Braden Point wasn't healthy, and they just willed their way to a 4-game sweep over the Florida Panthers.
Yep.
Like it was unbelievable to watch. And I think Bill Zito saw that, and you can't tell me that there wasn't a part of them that, from seeing those 4 games, that triggered the decision that summer, not only go out and hire Paul Maurice, but also make the trade for Matthew Tkachuk. And the franchise has never been the same since then when you look at how they play. I think it was a perfect storm in a lot of cases where like an organization that was prepared to go in the direction they're at now, and the opportunity to lure a coach who, remember, he left Winnipeg and he was prepared to ride off into the sunset and kind of call it a career as a head coach from that point. But convinced him that there was reason to continue to hone his craft as behind the bench in Florida. And you look at where they are now. Like not many teams have the opportunity to be as good as they are already, and then, as you say, bring in not only Brad Marchand but Seth Jones too.
Yeah.
I think it is a great reminder across the league where it's tough to make a decision, especially some of the bolder ones come trade deadline. But when you've got a management group, a scouting group that you trust, that can highlight players that you believe will help you, give you a chance, and you do the homework necessary, like you're seeing the payoff here now for Florida, and like all of that, it's going to take an incredible effort from Carolina to knock them off. But they're a good team too. Like they've earned their way here to this point, and you just need to win one here, and it would be great for their end to do it tonight, because then at least you push off the narrative of another game in the conference final that they lost, another one against Florida where they don't score enough. Put that to bed, and it kind of allows you to wipe the slate clean a little bit.
Yeah, I would just say it's a little bit like if Rory McIlroy wins the Masters, but then Rory didn't play well at the PGA. So maybe it's I need a different analogy. Plus, if Carolina wins tonight, we know that you're coming back to town next Wednesday. Kyle Bukauskas, SportsNet, 32 Thoughts, the podcast, at SportsNet Kyle, if you just want to look at his Twitter timeline. I'll see you at the rink. I appreciate your time, sir. It was good to meet.
Absolutely. Thanks very much, Adam. Appreciate having me on.
You got it. Take care. Kyle Bukauskas from SportsNet in Canada. Eddie Olczyk is going to join us when we come back. Eddie, we can even talk Preakness, but we'll just talk hockey. Next.
Making more sports sense than social media trolls. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
It's not about the cars, the speed, the action. It's not about the party or the long weekend. It's about them, the ones that gave everything. This Memorial Day weekend, we honor the fallen at America's Home for Racing.
The 66th running of the Coca-Cola 600.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell Groom's Cake Ice Cream is renewing its vows on the frozen aisle. Milk chocolate ice cream with chocolate cake pieces, chocolate-coated strawberry hearts, swirls of strawberry sauce, and chocolate icing. See you at the reception.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
Have you ever heard of paramedics who don't just respond to emergencies, but work to prevent them? The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. Cape Fear Valley Health's Community Paramedic Program is a groundbreaking initiative where paramedics aren't just transporting patients, they're building bridges to better care, right from the patient's living room. Here's Cape Fear's Alinda Bailey.
We're not just asking, what's your medical emergency? We're asking, do you have problems obtaining your medicines? Can you get to your appointments? Are you safe? Are you supported? We try to identify not only the medical needs, the mental health needs, but also the social determinants that play a factor in the care of our patients and clients.
Join our latest conversations on the state of healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcast, and learn more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
Here at NC Cyber Academy, screens are a good thing. At our K-12 tuition-free virtual charter school, your child can find a flexible and personalized education that lets them take a brain break when they need it, but also provides structured one-on-one time with our amazing teachers. But we also power down our laptops for in-person activities with fellow students to build community. Visit myncca.com to learn how we can set your child up for success in the classroom, at college, and in their careers.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, you're more than a policy, you're family. With offices in every county, we're close by when it matters most. Our local agents customize coverage to fit your life. And our award-winning claims team delivers fast, quality repairs. It's no surprise Forbes ranked us the #1 auto insurer in America. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
Did you know, along with keeping their local communities powered, public power line workers are part of a mutual aid network spanning the state and country? Public power crews help their neighbors when natural disasters damage electric systems. And that mutual aid network is one of the reasons public power has the highest reliability rating among energy providers, forming a camaraderie among line workers that's second to none. Interested in joining public power? Learn more about careers at electricities.com.
This is Adam Gold.
He doesn't have many years to choose from.
No, and part of that was COVID. Nobody's picking COVID.
COVID was a great year.
Yeah.
Look, if you invested in Zoom,
oh, that was a good year. Yes.
You had a good year during COVID.
Yep.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold, thanks to Kyle Bukauskas from SportsNet. So I introduced myself to him today. He might have some familiarity only because Hurricanes games are often on Sirius, from what I've been told. And, seems like everybody in the hockey community, all the hockey media is dialed into Channel 91 all the time. It's a great channel. I mean, if you love a sport like a lot of people love hockey, then you probably listen to that a lot. A lot. And I hear Maniscalco on all the time. I'm driving around, like, Mike Maniscalco. I'll see Mike later today. So, these guys are on all the time. Anyway, it was cool to meet him, and if you're a listener to their 32 Thoughts, the podcast, Kyle does a great job, so appreciate him carving out a few minutes. Then we chatted a lot about the team and what Carolina might do going forward, and the narratives that we keep hearing, right? And look, not all of them are factual, but some are. Carolina, like Greg Wyshynski wrote about it today, Carolina has been looking for a goal scorer. Well, yeah, they have been, which is why they made the trade for Jake Gensel 2 years ago, or last year. Right? They've been looking for, that's why they wanted Jake Gensel last year. That's why they traded for Mikko Rantanen this year. The Hurricanes, in the 7 years under Rod Brind'Amour, have had a player finish in the top 30 in scoring 5 times. It's only one player. Only Sebastian Aho, 5 times in 7 years. He has been in the top 30 in scoring. That's it. Nobody else on the team has done it. 30. Anyway, let's do one-timers.
Okay, so Kicking things off, all of these are Canes related, of course, but this is a fun one. So for people who don't know, I have this theory that Cheez-Its, I have some lucky Cheez-Its.
Right.
So I turned the Canes game around with my lucky Cheez-Its once. They didn't work last time, but I think I was too early last time. That was the key. So I'm going to wait
until... you got to time the Cheez-Its correctly.
Yes, I timed it incorrectly, so I'm going to hold off today. However, this question comes from our friend Chuck. Adam, do you have an in-game ritualistic snack for Canes games like I do with my magical Cheez-Its?
I do not have a ritualistic snack. I used to make a snack table parfait.
Oh.
Which you would take Chex Mix and do like a scoop of Chex Mix and then like a handful of gummy bears.
Oh, yeah.
And then a spoonful of Chex Mix and then a handful of gummy bears and then another spoonful of Chex Mix.
Yeah.
But if you don't get out there early enough, and I can't,
yes,
it's gone.
They're gone.
Yes.
Especially the gummy worms.
Scavengers.
So you go with the gummy bears versus the gummy worm, the sour
gummy worms.
Yeah,
you could throw a couple of the sour worms on top for like a flourish.
I like those. Yeah, it's the accent piece. It's like cilantro.
Yeah.
All right, next up from William. Let's see. I get Rod's reason for going with Morrow over Nikishin. He doesn't agree with it, but what would you do?
People don't want to hear what I would do because I would play Riley Stillman over both of them because neither of them are ready. I don't think there's a great reason to play Morrow. I don't think there's a great reason to play Nikishin other than he's your bigger prospect. I think people saw what they wanted to see when he played in Washington in Game 5. There were some good things he did. He has a great shot, and he defended Alexander Ovechkin once, but Ovechkin is toast at this point.
Yeah.
And he wasn't that hard to defend. Nobody else had any problem defending Alexander Ovechkin during the series. And he was, unfortunately, tentative with the puck, and he made some mistakes, and he just didn't handle it well, and I thought he was thinking. And when you think, you slow down, and all of those things were recipes for disaster, not to mention the communication problem. So, honestly, it doesn't matter who that extra guy is. If it's not Chatfield, he really shouldn't play much at all. So, I was surprised that Morrow played as much as he did in Game 1, 12 and a half minutes, more than Nikishin played in Washington. I think that guy, whoever that is going to play 6 minutes tonight because I think you have to put your best players on the ice at all times.
Yeah. Well, next up from our friend Chef Wolf. So what are your thoughts on KK skating this morning?
He ain't playing. That's my thought. Not playing.
Yeah.
So, and he was the third pick in the 2018 draft. He was the pick right after Andrei Svechnikov, right before Brady Tkachuk. He played right away in Montreal, and he was a decent player in Montreal. Not so good that he wasn't a healthy extra for some playoff games in his third year, but he hasn't been as good as he needs to be.
Yeah.
So, and he hasn't been consistent for Carolina. I am not surprised that he's a healthy extra. Personally, at home I wouldn't do it. On the road I wouldn't do it because on the road I think Roslovic's defensive shortcomings will be exposed. I hope Jesperi gets mad and comes back and plays with a vengeance because he can be a good player. I think he's got a limit, but he can be a good player. But he just hasn't been that good.
Yeah.
So.
Well, next up, this is a hypothetical. So, hypothetically speaking, if the Canes lose tonight, would you go with Kochetkov in Game 3?
I mean, it depends on how they lose. I mean, was Freddie the reason why they lost? And frankly, I don't even think it matters if Frederik Andersen is healthy unless he has just been absolutely destroyed by Florida. I think he's going to start every game he's healthy.
All All right, and last up, so there are some people who are talking about Nikishin in the chat. Some feel that it's worth putting him out there just for the physical aspect of it. Some don't feel that he has the confidence to use his physicality in the game. What do you think? If he were to play today.
The Hurricanes were plenty physical in game one. They don't need somebody else to become physical. Jacob Slavin threw his body around in game one. He plays if he can help the team. The Alexander Nikishin that I watched, and by the way, I don't think Scott Morrow is in any position to help more than Alexander Nikishin. The Alexander Nikishin I watched in Washington was, at best, a net zero in terms of mistakes to positive plays. At best. And actually, I think he was probably underwater. It wasn't glaring. He wasn't awful. Right? Yeah, look, I know Morrow was a -3 and all of that. And he didn't play well. But it's not going to matter who that guy is. That guy isn't going to play. We can't. First of all, the language is the most important thing here. The fact that he can only communicate right now with Dmitry Orlov, that's one of the things in the offseason it's going to have to be addressed. Going to have to make him hang around with Andre and speak a lot of English. Like, attach yourself at the hip.
Have Kochetkov be his translator again.
Oh, boy. Anyway, that's my quick thought on that.
That's it. That's all we got for today.
It's all the one-timer we have one time for. All right. When we come back, by the way, Jeff Goodman is going to join us next hour. Field of 68. Yes, it is a college basketball site. They do tons of podcasts. John Henson, Tar Heel legend, is featured. So is Tyler Hansbrough, featured prominently with that crew. But he's a huge Caniac. So we'll talk a little Canes and hoops.
Chapel Hill to Charlotte, Greenville to Greensboro. Your sports, his state. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
It's bow time. Yep, it's eating time again. Now you could unload groceries, chop, dice, mince, preheat, heat, slap around the smoke detector, and then celebrate with a big old pile of dishes. But if you're tired of cooking, or tired of sorta cooking, it's time to feed the whole family with Bojangles Fried Chicken Family Meal. With Bojangles' famous chicken, fixins, biscuits, and tea, you can forget the cookbook and spend some well-earned quality time with a delicious dinner from Bojangles. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing for some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. Satisfy your craving for flavor and your passion for boneless chicken with Bojangles 4-piece Supremes Dinner. 4 perfectly seasoned Cajun fried whole breast tenderloin fillets, choice of fixin', a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit, and Bojangles legendary iced tea. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
Hi, I'm Marcy Bailey. And at Bailey's Fine Jewelry, we understand your concerns when it comes to buying an engagement ring. Am I paying too much? Am I getting a quality diamond? Will she love the ring? Rest assured, we prioritize your happiness as much as the exquisite diamonds we offer. That's why we provide unparalleled guarantees to give you peace of mind. First of all, we offer an incredible 30-day money-back guarantee. Secondly, with our unique 100-day price protection, we promise you'll get the best price, quality, and value. But if you find a better offer, we'll match it and give you 10% of the difference. But we don't stop there. We also offer an unprecedented lifetime diamond guarantee. It's our way of giving you confidence throughout all of your cherished moments. We've been locally owned since 1948 and voted the best jeweler year after year. At Bailey's, we're not just selling jewelry. We're providing a legacy of trust. We invite you to shop with us and experience the difference.
A pepperoni pizza for the table. May I suggest trying it with our Pepsi Zero Sugar? It has just the right amount of sweetness to complement all that cheesy, saucy goodness. Simply divine.
Pepsi Zero Sugar? You've really outdone yourself this time.
Pizza deserves Pepsi.
Handy Hugo's has a refreshing deal. 2 1-liter Pepsis for just $3. Quench your thirst at Handy Hugo's today.
Are you ready for a global summer showdown? Thursday, June 19th at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Football legends collide at the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup. Inter Miami and FC Porto. Lionel Messi and Jordi Alba taking on Diogo Costa and Rodrigo Mora. Don't miss your chance to be part of history. Grab your tickets now at FIFA.com/tickets.
To some, a baby's babbling doesn't mean much, but it does. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number Everything Smart Bed sale. Every smart bed and base are on sale during our Memorial Day event. Up to 50% off, plus free home delivery. Limited time. Exclusively to Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Neesmith inbounds to Halliburton. Oh boy, here we go. 6-5 Halliburton to the top of the arc, to the right elbow. Pulls it back out for 3, and the win at the horn. Back iron, and in! Halliburton hit it! Halliburton hit it! Indiana storms the floor. The officials will hold here. They have to review the shot.
Ruling on the floor is a 2-point goal. The play is under review.
The review shows his foot is on the line. That will be a 2. We've got overtime in game 1 here.
The inbound is in, and that's it. Final touch. And Indiana comes back and wins game 1 in overtime, 138 to 135.
That was wild last night. Absolutely wild last night. 2 incredible finishes if you were toggling back and forth between the NBA playoff game with the Knicks and the Pacers or the Western Conference Finals as Dallas trailed 3-1, start of the third period, and then it was a parade of power play goals, and they took the lead and ran away and won it 6-3. Incredible. And because our next guest is a horse racing freak as well as lead analyst for TNT on the NHL, Eddie Olczyk, I am going to start, sir, with you with a kind of an analogy to horse racing with the Carolina Hurricanes. First, how are you?
Hi, Adam.
Did you just whinny?
No, that was Johnny Forsland in the background. So, yeah.
I know him very well.
Of course, I got to take a shot at the great John Forsland.
No, it's quite all right. You guys spend a lot of time with one another. So
yes, we do.
My analogy is, I think that the Hurricanes are going to be in many ways similar to journalism at the Preakness. They're going to have to fight through it, and then maybe they can catch Florida at the wire like journalism did. So your thoughts on that?
Well, first off, thanks for having me, Adam. I appreciate it. I mean, this is a different – we talked about it on our TNT broadcast, working with Kenny Albert, Brian Boucher, and Jackie Redmond. This is a different animal in these playoffs. It's not the Devils, not the Capitals.
Yep.
It's the defending Stanley Cup champions, but even stylistically and the depth and the size and the urgency and the goaltender and the physicality, and then also, Florida wants, you want to play an 8-7 game. They'll love to do that. They can play that. If you want to play 2-1 or you want to play a punch them in the mouth, I mean, they're going to be first in line in that type of game. So. I think for the Canes, I thought that, they came out and I think that they drew a line in the sand. and they were really physical, and I think that they ran out of position. I shouldn't say run out of position. I think that they took some runs at some guys physically, which is fine, which is A-okay. But I don't think that that's how one of the top coaches in the league, and Rod Brind'Amour, has gotten his team to be as predictable and as good and as stylistically that they play. Like, if the hits are there, you want your guys that are physical to go ahead and bang people and, and get in people's way and whatever. But it just felt from up top, watching the press box, that there were times where I think you could have maybe, I want to say played a little bit more, but, don't worry about the physicality. Just use your legs, use your money makers to get in on the forecheck and play that type of game to your strength. So, because I think that feeds right into Florida if you're going to try to run around, and I don't think that that's how this team has been built, whether it was the legendary Ron Francis in charge and having a strong, fingerprint on this organization all these years later, or now with Eric Tolsky and the entire organization, is that you have to play to your identity. And I think at times early the other night, I think that it played into the hands of the Florida Panthers. And then as the game went on, the Canes got to their game and had some chances and kept Florida off the shot clock for a long period of time. So you're going to have potholes, you're going to have adversity, you're going to have horses in front of you, and you're just going to have to fight your way through it and hope that one of your big time players can make a big time play at the key time and get a save. And that's what hockey is. And I think for Carolina, I think the analogy is very fair with the trip that journalism had in the Preakness. You could say the other night was very similar, and they weren't able to find the wire first, but they are the favorite in this game tonight, and I would expect them to come with a big push and give their best, put their best skate forward. And look, it might not be good enough, Adam. It just might not. I mean, this is playoff hockey, and right now Florida's got it going on, and the guy in goal for them is seeing it. And after a really slow start in the last round against Toronto,
he didn't. By the way, Sergei Bobrovsky didn't even need a stick to make the best save of the game. I thought the best save of the game was on Roslovic in the slot at 3-1.
Yeah,
I think right.
And we said on the broadcast, Adam, is that where he was. I wasn't at the skate this morning. I would be interesting to know if did Jack know that Bob didn't have the stick. I don't think he did, to be honest with you, because I said on the broadcast, I know where I'm shooting at. If I'm in that prime area, I know where I'm going with that puck. If the goaltender doesn't have the stick in his hand and where he was positioned, right? Like I'm worm burning in that. I think I use the terminology of a worm burner. Like you're sitting there and you're firing that thing as hard as you can, as low as you can. So you're right. He didn't need a stick on that save, and it was a timely save, a tremendous save, but the Canes did create that chance and just weren't able to capitalize.
Eddie Olczyk is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. I appreciate you running with the Preakness analogy. I know that's wheelhouse for you, and I'm totally on board with it. You and I have spoken about horse racing before. Rod Brind'Amour told me today. He said, there's all of these narratives going around about the Carolina Hurricanes, but he said today that he thinks Florida essentially plays a very similar way to Carolina. They just do it better, maybe with better players. I'm saying that, not him, but that Florida plays Carolina's game maybe better than Carolina does.
Yeah, I mean they do play similar styles, but I would look at Florida, and again, all due respect to Roddy, I look at Florida being a way more physical team.
They are
than Carolina. So that to me is where I think it stops and it starts, Adam, when it comes to style and those type of things. And look at sometimes the puck is optional for a few guys on Florida.
Yeah.
So you know what they're looking to do. I mean, they're looking to put somebody into the fourth or fifth row, but they do it all year long, Adam. It's not just like all of a sudden, we're going to get into the first round of the playoffs and we're going to try to play this way. Because if you're not conditioned to play that way, you're going to fall apart. That's just, it's like a team. I guess we're all. I guess I'm about analogies on your show here today, but it's like in football. Like if you have a team that just absolutely throws, and then all of a sudden they're going to come out of the chute and they're going to, we're going to run, pound the ball. Like that's a hard game.
Yeah.
And if you're not, I'm not saying it's not a part of their DNA, that being the Canes, but if you try to do that for long, sustained periods of time and you're not used to it, it's hard. Or if you want to play a run and gun type of game, like if you're not in tune to that, I heard you play the clip with the Knicks and Pacers, and I was watching both games last night. Like, I couldn't believe what I was seeing at the Garden. But it's like, for the Knicks, like if you're going to play that up and down transitional type of game, that feeds right into the Pacers. Like that's just, they want to play that way. They want to put up 140 points. So I just think that they do play similar styles, the Panthers and the Canes, but at the end of the day, the physicality part, I think the Canes got to be much more selective in the physical play and, who can make a play. And that's what it comes down to in playoff hockey.
Final thing before we let Eddie Olczyk go, and I appreciate your time. TNT has the game tonight, Game 2. We all want the Hurricanes to win this game, so we know that you and everybody else will be back here on Wednesday because we this is paradise. Sebastian Aho had that chance 2-on-1 early on. He chose to pass instead of shoot. I think all of us believe he should have shot it because there wasn't really a pass through. But is it him? Is it Andrei Svechnikov? Who are you looking for tonight to be the guy to finally get over the hump and beat Florida in a conference final game?
The only thing I would say in a 2-on-1, Adam, is that look at the guy's an unbelievable two-way player. If he would have made the pass right away at the blue line, it would have been the perfect play. But again, he waited a little bit too long, and look, it sometimes happens. I think it was Mikkola that slid over and got the glove on it. He's the driver. I mean, I would say that it's him. He's the driver of that team, of his line. Svechnikov does have the ability with the physicality and stuff. I think he's got to just go up and down when bodies are there. Go ahead, take a piece of somebody. Go to that net, hang around a little bit more. You can't be on the outside. Like when in the playoff hockey, you got to get inside the dots and stop and stay and just go stand in front of the net every once in a while. But to me, I think it's Aho, without a doubt, because he's that type of player, and that's why he is who he is. But this is a different time, different team. In the playoffs, you got to find a way to get it done, regardless if it's, how much you're getting, whether it's even strength or power play.
And we all we want the Hurricanes to be playing all the way through the Belmont Stakes. Eddie Olczyk, TNT, NHL lead analyst, sir. I'll see you up on the 5th floor later on. I appreciate your time. Tell John Forsland we said hi.
I will do that. Yeah.
All right, Eddie Olczyk here on the Adam Gold Show. Jeff Goodman's going to join us in studio. He's a Caniac. We're going to talk about the Canes. We're also going to talk about Cooper Flagg. We're talking about the Celtics. How did he become a Hurricanes fan? I know his daughter is a bigger Hurricanes fan than he is. Also better at his job, I think, maybe than he is. I kid. Jeff Goodman will join us in studio next.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
It's playoff hockey night in Carolina. The Canes, Florida, in the Eastern Conference Final, Game 2.
Svechnikov scores! Carolina strikes first. It's 1-0 Hurricanes.
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 7. Puck drop at 8.
Andrei Svechnikov beats Thompson, and Carolina takes a 2-1 lead.
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes, 99.9 The Fan.
If Heineken Silver was a 60-second radio ad, it'd tell you all the stuff you need to know in only 30 seconds to keep things light and refreshing. Seriously, time me. Heineken Silver, a world-class light beer that's surprisingly crisp and refreshing. Made with only premium quality ingredients and just 2.9 grams of carbs and 95 calories. All without compromising on taste. Heineken Silver. Order now at Heineken.com/silver. Must be 21 and older to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly. Whew. 30 seconds. That's it. Done. Peace.
It is I, Juan Carlos Santiago del Santiago, the coolest man in the world. Yes, I am back in Raleigh. Do I go downtown with so many places to party? No, I go to the Sharky's place. The good food, the fine drinks, the coldest of beers, and of course, the many, many beautiful people. I always hang at the Sharky's place, the coolest bar in the world, because, well, it was built for me. Juan Carlos Santiago del Santiago, the coolest man in the world. The Sharky's place, 8800 de Raleigh Road by the Shelley Station.
Out on credit cards, struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated the kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166171 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Need CPAP supplies fast? I'm Brandon Giggling, president of Parkway Sleep Health Centers, and we are the Triangle's top sleep provider, offering quick access to the equipment you need for better sleep. Get the right supplies right when you need them. With over 20 years of experience, our expert team is here to help you sleep better, sooner.
Discover why so many trust Parkway Sleep Health Centers for better sleep. Visit parkwaysleep.com now and start your journey to a healthier night's sleep. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep. Sound health.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Serving in the military requires great sacrifices, not just for one's country, but also for one's family. Not surprisingly, divorce for soldiers is especially difficult, and it raises a number of challenges that are peculiar to military divorce, things such as deployments, relocation, retirement benefits. These issues can be complicated. So if you're a soldier facing such challenges, go to CordellCordell.com.
Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois. CordellCordell.com.
When you think of hot, you might think about the tragic time you ate too much wasabi. Or about getting into your car on a summer day when it feels more like stepping into a sauna. But heat can work in your favor, like during Verizon Red Hot Deal Days. Get hundreds of hot deals on all your favorites, like iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence, Apple Watch Series 10, and iPad, on any plan. Only until May 28th for new and existing customers. Offer available on My Plan. Only at Verizon.
Gold. Gold.
Because if interrupting is part of the talent, then she wins.
Giving an RBF face? Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I mean, everybody saw it.
I didn't say it.
That picture,
did not say that.
When they were asking Bill and she interrupts him and they look at her, that's evil. Like,
yeah. Okay.
I was waiting for the lights to come out of her pupils.
You're not wrong.
The Adam Gold Show.
All right, this is us. Oh, look, they're playing music for us. It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Jeff Goodman from Field of 68 used to have all, 30 other
Not
credits.
just one.
It's just
easy.
one.
Yeah, it's easy.
Just
now, isn't
one.
it? Easier for me, too. There's only one paycheck coming in now, and it's from myself.
And you're paying yourself.
Yes.
Have you ever asked yourself for a raise?
I mean, Rob Dosser is the one, in full disclosure, he's the one who handles the money.
Okay.
Because I don't trust myself with
Gotcha.
paying bills and
Right.
all that. I do it, actually, for my wife and I. I pay the bills. But, yeah, I have asked Dosser for a raise, and I better be getting it soon.
Has he turned you down? He hasn't turned you down.
No, not yet. Not yet.
No,
But that
it's
time
coming.
will come.
It's coming. We talk to Rob every once in a while, too. First of all, you guys do an amazing job. But we're going to start. Yeah. You're here for the Hurricanes.
Of course.
This is awesome to me. First of all, I didn't know you were coming into town. I know when you're in town sometimes when it coincides with basketball. Yeah. And I know between you and your daughter, Talia, who is going to be way better at your job than you.
No doubt. No doubt.
I mean, and
covers women's basketball, and she kills it.
Just
At 21 years old,
and a
while
student.
going to school. Full-time.
She's still at IU?
Yeah.
Still in Indiana. Yeah. All right, so, by the way, she has been a guest on my Canes podcast.
She was going to be here, but the problem is, so she's trying to graduate early, so she's taking 2 summer classes.
Right.
One of which was from, I think, 10:30 to 11:30, and then she said, she's like, Dad, I got to do work for the portal. Like, actually, not the portal. I'm sorry. The portal's kind of over. It's more recruiting. She goes full into recruiting mode now.
Right.
I don't anymore. I'm too old for that.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I'm not doing that anymore. I did that long enough.
Does she do it all herself?
All of it. Yeah.
You have
She
help?
works for On3. Yeah, I didn't back then though. When I got into it, it was similar. The first big job I had, I worked for Scout. I did a bunch of freelance stuff back when newspapers.
I met you when you
existed.
were at CBS.
Yeah. So it went Scout, Fox, CBS, ESPN, Stadium, now Field of 68. But, most of them, they really didn't care what I was doing. Like, I remember when I was at Fox, I remember going to an event down in Puerto Rico, one of the Puerto Rican, whatever it was called, Puerto Rico Shootout, whatever. And they didn't even know I was there. I filed the story from Puerto Rico. I was at the games, and then I think I filed the story from the beach. They had no idea where I was. So, just to kind of say, like, similar, but the times have changed so much now with the portal. I mean, those were the days I put together the transfer list by myself, reaching out to every coach.
Right.
First year was like 250 people on it. 250. I had a kid come up to me. I was going to abandon it, and I had a kid come up to me at Northeastern. I was at a game, and he said, thanks. And I'm like, thanks for what? He's like, thanks for putting me on the transfer list. He was from UTSA.
Okay.
And the only reason he got to Northeastern was because of my list at that point.
Right.
So I'm like, I'll keep doing it.
Very nice.
Yeah.
All right. How did you become a Caniac? Was Talia first?
Oh yeah.
To this?
Yeah, she's the only reason.
She wrote for Canes Country for a while.
Yes. I grew up a Bruins fan.
I know. I understand.
I hate to say it around here,
I
but
assume she did too.
Huge. No, she didn't really grow up as a big sports fan.
Okay.
So she didn't have an allegiance. I did. I grew up in the Terry O'Reilly, Mike Milbury.
Were you
Stan
there when
Jonathan.
Milbury beat the guy
I
with his
wasn't
own
there,
shoe?
but I see Terry O'Reilly. Like, I lived till we moved recently to Charleston. We lived 5 minutes from Terry O'Reilly. I mean, they were the goons.
Yeah.
They were the goons, And so I grew up as a huge, huge, huge hockey fan. And then I kind of lost it for a while just because it's hard when you're covering college basketball the way I do.
Yeah.
It's very hard to tell your wife that you're going to watch anything else.
Right.
Like, for me, it was college hoops and then football. I fought for NFL on Sundays. But other than that, I'm not even fighting for anything else.
I'm imagining the conversation.
Yeah,
That's
like
so funny.
I'm going to tell my wife, no, we're going to sit home and watch a hockey game or even college football on Saturdays, occasional. But I lost hockey. And then Talia, she probably doesn't want me saying this, but in high school.
She's not listening. She's studying.
She's studying. I don't know if she's studying, but it was a boy. A boy in high school was a big Canes fan back then. So he somehow got her into hockey, got her into the Canes, and thus she became a diehard Canes fan and the biggest Svetch. I mean, she got like 5 Svetch jerseys. and the coolest thing, how about this? The coolest thing is, and this shows what a great guy Andres Svechnikov is I followed him on Twitter. He then followed me back. I DM'd him. This was probably 4 years ago or so. And I said, hey, man, my daughter's a huge fan at this point. This is before she was getting into writing, really into it. She was more a fan. And I said, hey, is there any chance that, I can get a jersey you're assigned? She bought a couple. Can I send one to you? He literally DMs me his wherever he's living.
Right.
Not send it to the facility, send it to my house or condo, apartment, whatever he's living in. And that thing was back to us in like a week.
Really?
Yeah. Just
That's
a
pretty
class
cool.
guy. We've never met him.
Oh, man, he's dynamite.
That's kind of – is he a good dude?
Yeah.
He seems it.
So much fun.
He seems like a good dude who's kind of happy-go-lucky.
Very.
Right?
He's never had a bad day.
Yeah.
Ever had a bad – and like when
even the other day? You don't think it was a bad
yeah, it wasn't a great end, right?
Great end. It wasn't a great – the first 5 minutes were good. We can get into this, but the first 5 minutes, I'm like, okay, they're playing tough. They're playing physical. They're hitting. This is what I came here for. And for me, the hardest part of all this is I don't pay for tickets very often.
Right.
Okay. I just, for basketball, I just know when I'm covering
You're
for
there all
free,
the time,
I'm able to go. And then for NBA stuff, I'll occasionally pay for like a Celtics game, but I covered most of them as well. So rarely will I pay big money for a ticket. But Talia was like, we're going. And I'm like, all right, you're making money now. You can pay for your own ticket for game one. But my wife came the other night. She had to go back to Charleston yesterday. So we stuck around, just Talia and I. And I walked out of there the other night, and I was like, how do people do this?
Yeah.
How do people do this? How do they put forth this type of money and walk out of this sporting event and say, like, I was like, I want my money back. Like, this was an awful performance. That was the type of performance where you're like, you walk out and you're like, this sucked. I had nothing to cheer about. The only time I cheered about anything was when they got a goal off a skate.
We did.
That was it. That was the only time I cheered.
Well, we got another goal, but it didn't come off his game. Yeah.
I didn't think that one was even legal at the time. I wasn't sure.
A couple of years ago, it might not have been. I think that if you can kick a puck to a teammate, then you should be able to kick it into the goal as long as your skate doesn't leave the ice. It becomes a player safety issue if you wind up and try to garrow your
I guess
Premian one in.
If you can use your stick and redirect it, why not be able to use your skate?
So good goal. Glad it counted. I thought it would create some momentum for the second period. To me, first of all, I can tell you're a diehard fan, and that's good. The game was better than you think. That the way they played. The difference in the game is that when Florida had their chances, they're goals.
They weren't just goals, Adam. They were unstoppable. Those shots were put in corners where, honestly, Freddie didn't have much of a chance to save those. He might have been able to,
right. I don't disagree with that.
They were hard goals to blame on him.
Yeah, I thought there were two goals I think he could have done better on. Yeah. I would have liked to have seen him attack Verhaeghe on the first goal. Yeah, because Verhaeghe,
you're right. He had all day.
He had all day. Sitting there all day.
All day. Yeah.
And Freddie was already down, and so he was kind of small. So that was my only criticism of him on that goal. He could have fought around the screen on the Bennett goal that made it 4-1.
Okay.
Sometimes I was listening to Martin Baron, who is a former NHL goalie, does serious work on Sirius XM, also a friend of this program.
Buffalo Sabres. I was actually in Buffalo and covered him.
He was a dynamite guest, and he was like, he says, I think Freddie might have just sort of given up on the play, thinking that I'll just stay in position rather than fight around the screen. But don't be upset when you walk out of there. It's still a good time. You enjoyed yourself. It was
not a good time.
You didn't enjoy yourself for 2.5 hours?
No.
Would you rather 4 overtimes of that?
Yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I wanted to cheer for something.
I had that 2 years ago.
I wanted to cheer for that game. Watching that game on TV was awesome. I just didn't feel like there were too many times the other night where I could get excited after the first
That's Florida.
8 or 10 minutes. I know.
That's Florida.
I know. Hopefully tonight, the call, the penalty on Ahu killed him right away. I thought that was a tough call.
Bad call.
Bad call. It was a bad call.
Yeah. Very bad call.
And they lost momentum right away with that. And
Keep
they
up
were
the
never
power
able
play
to
goal.
they were never able to kind of get back. They got to get the crowd into it. And the crowd was into it anyway at times. The atmosphere there is so good.
Yep,
It's
amazing.
It's as good as we talk about college basketball, Duke, Kansas, some of these places I go to that are amazing.
Right.
It's every bit as good.
Oh, no, it's amazing. Yeah. It is. It is a really loud house. Yes. It is unconditional love, too.
Yeah, which is cool.
Yeah, and it does combine. We had the outdoor game here 2.5 years ago.
Yep.
And it was the perfect combination of college football and hockey. It was an incredible, incredible environment to be at Carter Finley. It was also the coldest I've ever been.
Oh, well, you're soft. You're down here. I grew up in Boston.
Okay.
That's why we moved to Charleston. Because I'm soft.
So now,
hell yeah.
I appreciate you admitting it.
Yes.
So it was so cold on the ice. And I really thought about taking my stuff inside after the game was over. But I ended up doing everything from right there at the rink. But I was cold.
You're
through to the
already
bone.
numb. You're already numb at that point.
Point. It didn't matter. But yeah, so the atmosphere at Lenovo is tremendous. And it's going to be that way again tonight.
I can't wait. I just want to win. Yeah, and I feel bad for my wife because she had to go back after that game. And I'm like, man.
Has she become a fan too?
Oh, huge.
Okay, good.
I will say this. It is the only team. Think about this.
Okay.
It is the only team I have been able to root for probably since I got into this, since I graduated college. I rooted for Arizona when I was in college. Now they hate me there. Hate me.
Why do they hate you?
Because I'm objective. Nobody wants to hear somebody objective. And objective means you have to criticize.
Right.
And I have no problem. So, yeah, like I criticize. You know when it really got bad was when they got Caleb Love.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I said, like, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. He's not going to bring him to the promised land. He's not going to bring him to the Final Four.
He had some big games for him, though.
Of course he did, but he was the same way he was at Carolina, up, down, sideways. Like, you never knew what to expect. You couldn't trust. You could never trust Caleb Love.
Except
you never knew
when
what
they
you
were playing Duke.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, true.
He's had some monster games,
he has.
even at Arizona against the Blue Devils. We'll get back to hockey before we leave. We have about 10 more minutes left. It goes fast, doesn't it?
It does. Well, you and I.
Yeah,
yes,
it's true.
You and I could do this all day.
That is true. First of all, what did you think of last night at the Garden? I'm sure you watched the end.
Of course I did.
I mean, I was going back. I was watching Dallas-Edmonton first, and then I thought, let me go check out what the fourth quarter's like. The Knicks had pulled out to a big lead, and I went back to hockey, watched Dallas take the lead. They went back to the Knicks. They had like a 12-point lead or 11-point lead with like 4 minutes to go. And then what?
Aaron Neesmith, man, kept him in it. Charleston's own, by the way.
That's right.
Charleston's own.
Crib, because
I'm now a Charleston guy.
Crib.
I'm now a Charleston guy. He was unconscious, and that's where they screwed up. That's where the Knicks let him get back in, is they weren't closing out on – Neesmith was so hot.
Yeah.
You have to make somebody else beat you at that point, and they never took the ball out of his hands.
Yeah.
And they were up a bunch, so I think maybe they felt like, we're comfortable. And then all of a sudden it got tight. And that shot by Haliburton, I mean, how lucky he was. And he goes in, I thought he was going to shoot the two.
That's exactly what he did in the last series.
And then he comes back and tries to shoot the three, and it's not a three. And the ball ricochets up and in, and then he gives the choke shot. It was just so, and it happened at MSG.
Yeah.
So it was like the ultimate drama. Those
with Reggie Miller there.
All those Knicks fans.
I didn't see Spike Lee. Was Spike Lee there?
I'm sure he was there. All these Knicks fans that we haven't heard from in 30 years, other than Spike. Give Spike credit. He's been there through all the lows, because it's been all lows.
Mostly lows.
And now you see all these guys come out of the woodworks.
Yeah.
Like, where the hell were you? Where the hell were you? Like, I got buddies of mine now that are coming out, and I'm like, no. You're not a Knicks fan. I didn't hear from you for 30 years.
Right.
Enough.
Well, there was nothing really to be excited about.
Right.
I grew up a Knicks fan, so
Did you?
I used to go to the Garden a lot. My favorite Knick is Bernard King.
Oh, man. Could he
still
score.
Bernard King.
The Bernard King, Larry Bird shootout?
My gosh. Well, the 84 first-round Knicks and Pistons, one of the best series, and I went to a few of those games. One of the best series I ever saw. King and Isaiah Thomas, who had like 30 in the fourth quarter of one game. Just ridiculous game. I think that was game 5. But Bernard averaged 40 points a game in the series.
Score in his sleep.
And the quickest release I've ever seen. Real quick.
Yeah.
Tatum's injury. Jason Tatum's injury. Yeah. That's a crusher for, obviously, the Celtics. Duke fans, we know we have a lot of Duke fans here. I mean, it's a hit, obviously, out for all of next year. I mean, going to come back. Is he going to come back better than?
Probably not.
Right?
I mean, it's hard for me too. Like, there are a few players. There are a few players. You know, you're supposed to be objective,
right?
But like, I've known Tatum since he was 15, and he's one of those few guys that hasn't changed.
Really,
in a way, like he is who he is. The only way he's changed, and the coolest part of being in Boston, I was there when he got drafted. Did the ESPN draft, and watching him grow as a man.
Mm-hmm.
Is the coolest thing ever, because he didn't say 2 words. He was super quiet when he was a kid, even through Duke. When he got to Boston, I remember rookie year talking to the media people that were covering him. They were like, he is the worst interview ever. And I'm like, yeah, I know. He doesn't really like doing it. But then he had a kid.
Yeah.
And I think that force him to grow up a little bit. But it's just, it sucks because Jason Tatum's such a good dude. And he's a guy that, again, you pair him with Jaylen Brown as the number 2 or Derek White as the number 2, whatever. You're going to keep those
2
three.
1s and a 2.
They knew they were going to have to get rid of either Porzingis or Drew Holiday or both. So,
Right.
like, Brad Stevens was going to have to make moves anyway. Now, and I've said this, and Celtics fans hate me for saying it, the best thing that could happen next year is they tank. They suck. They have another injury to Jaylen Brown that's not serious.
Right.
Serious enough that he only plays 25 games and then shuts
Right.
it down, and they get in the mix for A.J. DeBonsa, Darren Peterson Jr., Cam Boozer, Nate Ament. This is going to be a really good draft that is not one-man draft like this one is with Cooper.
All right. I know when NC State needed a head coach, you said right away, Jeff Goodman, by the way, I should probably say who Jeff Goodman is here, Field of 68. You said right away that Will Wade was a perfect fit. I mean, I know why I think he's a perfect fit. Tell me why you think he's a perfect fit. Recruiting has gone well.
Yep.
The portal, it's hard to tell how the portal went. It seems to have gone well. Your thoughts on Will Wade and the Wolfpack?
Yeah, I was there yesterday, so I saw Will for a while yesterday. I've known him forever, since he was an assistant coach at Harvard. He is a relentless
Under Amaker
worker. Yeah, it's kind of sort of how he got his start. He was a GA, I think, at Clemson before that.
Yeah.
Relentless worker, out of his mind. And I think everything he went through at LSU, he doesn't worry about the little things anymore, too. But great recruiter, really good coach. And again, it's going to be interesting here. I think they're going to get P.J. Haggerty. I think.
Okay,
I
he
think
wanted a fair amount of money.
He's not going to get the $5 or $4 million. He's not going to get quite that much.
That's what I heard, yeah.
The market just isn't there. The dad is running things there.
Oh, okay. That's always good.
Yeah, not the way you want to do it. But I think, but the difference these days, as opposed to 10 years ago when we were doing this stuff, is at the 11th hour, things can change because of money,
right?
Because of NIL. That wasn't. I mean, I guess there was a case with illegal NIL years ago. We just didn't. It was, and Will said this yesterday. He said, it used to be there was almost like an unconditional rule that if somebody commits or signs in this case, in some cases, but commits, that other coaches in basketball, not in football, would just say, okay, you know what? Other than maybe Rick Stansbury, he was the outlier, but everybody else, it was like, all right, he committed. Okay, you know what? We're not gonna touch him. Nowadays, that rule doesn't exist anymore. I think there's going to be fistfights between coaches at the Peach Jam on the AAU circuit this year. I'm
close to where you live.
Yeah, like at any. I'm not saying the Peach Jam, could be any AAU event. I think coaches are going to get into fights because now it's like no holds barred in recruiting. There are no rules anymore.
Sure,
there are no rules whatsoever. So I honestly think it may not be maybe a verbal barrage,
right?
But there's going to be something that happens out there. It's going to be ugly.
Oh, that'll be good for stories.
Oh yeah, I'll have my camera ready with my video ready to go. We'll put it up there. It won't be John Shire though. John Shire will not be yelling and screaming at anybody. He's too chill.
Did you see me write this down? I was going to ask you about John.
Yeah,
but
he avoided me playing pickleball yesterday. How about that? How soft is that?
I saw your interview with him not that long ago, and you were like half of the interview was about pickleball.
Yeah, because he's scared. I kicked Robbie Hummel's, out in San Antonio. Hummel's 6'8", 6'9".
Yeah.
Shire, he's going to pose no problem for him. What's Shire, 6'5"?
About only 6'5".
Yeah,
but
I got him.
Talking to me, I'm
worried.
like, I'm not quite 6'5". I'm just short of 6'5".
Short.
My son
Just
is
a little bit.
Yeah, my son is a goalkeeper. Is mad that I am not taller because
he of that.
knows he's limited.
Okay.
All right, real quick to Shire. We have a few more minutes left. Jeff Goodman is here, Field of 68. How much do you think he's still wearing the end of the game against Houston?
Oh, gotta be. I mean, the last 2 years have been excruciating. You lose to NC State with a Final Four berth. So you get through that, right? Like that's eating at you all offseason a year ago. Get through that. You have an unbelievable regular season. People are picking to win the whole thing. It's there for you. It's there for the taking.
They should have at least been
in the final game.
Sure.
Yeah. And then you piss that thing away at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think it's got to be brutal right now.
So things that he wants back. Does he want to, is he saying, man, I should have gotten Sion James away from inbounding the ball, use somebody else inbounding the ball? Is there something else? Should I not have taken the air out of the ball?
I think that's probably it.
Right?
I think that's probably it. Because you needed, one more basket.
Ultimately, yes.
When you look back on it, you're like,
Couple
everything had to go perfect.
Missed, right.
Everything had to go perfect for Houston, and it did. And everything had to go wrong everybody always looks at, well, whose fault was it? Well, it's always a combination, right?
Sure.
Shire's fault, certainly. I think you can, Proctor, certainly, with the free throws. Houston, give them a lot of credit for hanging in there, and that's what they are, and that's who they are. But, yeah, listen, they're going to have a chance again this year. And I will say this, the Boozer twins are special.
Okay.
They are special. Different
Are they both one-year players, or is just Cameron
I think Cameron
player?
most likely, but, I said this about my comparison to John yesterday, and I said to Dosser, is Mike Conley to Caden.
Oh, that's good.
But they're different players.
He only
one
played
year
too.
But nobody thought he'd be a one and done, and they're different because Conley had blazing speed.
Right.
But more the fact that Conley played in Odin's shadow, came in and nobody, he was kind of the sidekick. Same thing with Caden to Cam. He's kind of in the shadow there. Everybody talks about Cam being a double-double machine, which he is. Caden's really, really good. And I talked to Shire yesterday a little bit. He's expecting Isaiah Evans to have a huge jump here.
He should be.
And what about Caleb Foster? Yep. I watched him walking out of the facility.
I loved how he came back at the end of the year.
How cool. Well, but how cool is it to not hit the portal?
Yeah.
That's a kid who could have hit the portal, gotten 30-plus minutes anywhere. Last year was not fun for him, I'm sure, most of it. He could have went elsewhere, made $2+ million. I don't know, maybe he's making $2+ million at Duke. Probably is. But whatever. All I'm saying is he could have gotten a fresh start somewhere and been a guy. And instead, give him credit because not many kids are sticking it out like Caleb Foster has.
One quick word about Hubert Davis and Carolina. Do you like where they are?
No, not really.
Okay.
Not really. I mean, I don't know where they're going to be this year. I think it could go either way, right? It could go either way, as we've seen over the last couple of years with Carolina. It's hard to know. All I'll say is, I like the VSAR pickup a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know if I love their backcourt now. It's funny. Now, we hammered their front court a year ago. Now their front court is going to be their strength.
Yeah.
And the kid Evans coming over from Colorado State, he's going to be obviously a major key for them. But this year will determine, obviously, Hubert Davis's fate, I think, in Chapel Hill. It'll go one way or the other.
Yeah, okay, we don't have to worry about Rod Brind'Amour's fate. He's
the best.
He's fine. Give me the Jeff Goodman field of 68 or field of 16 because it's the NHL.
Yeah.
Field of 16 game plan for tonight.
I mean, listen, come out and be physical like they were.
Okay.
Right? Be physical. Play your game. I mean, you can't change who you are and what's got you there at this point, right?
Right.
And you may have to change it if you get down again, because then you can't play the same way. If you get down 2-3 goals, maybe then at that point you got to play a little bit different. But at this point, they need to play physical. They need to play smart. They need to not turn the puck over.
Either way, it's a flat
turn the
ball.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
A flat ball.
You know what I'm thinking.
I
you
get
know,
it.
Right?
I get it. All right. Do you remember the guy that won $100,000 in the?
I saw him. He didn't even he had no reaction. I'm like, dude, jump around, show some emotion. You just won $100,000. Like I would be like going out of my mind. Is he going to be on with you?
No. I said the exact same thing when he did it.
Yeah.
And this is what went through my mind. He must have so much money that it didn't matter to him.
Come on,
that he won $100,000.
You're probably right.
I mean,
I didn't think of that, but that's like the only explanation, right? Like, how else are you not like the dude barely cracked a smile?
Like, yeah, okay, I won 100.
Right.
Like in his head, he's calculating. Did I just go up a tax bracket? I'm not sure.
He's already in that 40%. That you know.
First of all, are we going to? We're going to more than 68. Soon, right? What do we got?
Yeah,
will you change the name? Will you go field
We already have it. I think Dosser already
Field of
went
76?
out and got there. Yeah, I think he already went out on Twitter and got, Field of 72, 76, 78.
890?
Might as well go like 160, whatever.
How much would it cost to get everything, every even number between here and 90?
I'm going to tell Dosser to get on that. He's got work to do. Because right now he's probably sitting on the beach somewhere. So I'm going to tell him, like, Adam said, hey, go get every even number. in between 70 and what do we cap
90.
out at?
I think. I think the rule
might as well go higher.
The rule caps out at 90.
The rule? What do you mean?
25% of the. Right?
Is there a rule?
They put it. They put that in.
Oh, I didn't
so
know
you
that.
could expand. Yeah,
I didn't know
absolutely.
you can't go beyond that.
I believe that's the limit.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm gonna tell
I
them
could
to get
be
on
wrong.
that.
I mean, I have no idea.
I feel like you know what.
I make most of the stuff up.
I feel like if Charlie Baker wants to, he can do whatever the hell he wants with it. And who's going to complain? It's just going to be more games for TV.
Charlie
and
Baker.
Coaches certainly. I like Charlie. Don't kill Charlie.
No, I like Charlie.
Charlie's
too.
a Massachusetts guy.
He is former
politician,
former
mayor,
governor.
Great dude, but man, to dig out of that hole that Mark Emmert created.
Sure. Well, anybody after Emmert was going to look like they do a great job.
Right. And anybody after Emmert was not going to be successful.
It's going to be hard.
It's maybe the next guy.
Can we stop? Can we stop asking Congress to bail us out of our dumb decisions?
I know.
But
this is
they might do it. They actually might do it.
Show. You know what? This is a complete disaster.
Everything they're doing,
all of it,
is going to be. It's just going to end up in court.
Yeah, they
don't want to do the right thing.
They need to somehow understand they're professional at this point now and have a CBA.
Yeah,
like they have. They're going to get there. It's just whether they get there before the NCAA is obsolete.
Right, exactly.
That's the question.
Thank you very much for coming in.
Great seeing you. Great seeing you. What time are you getting there tonight? Did you get there really early?
I'll be there probably by 4.
And what are you doing at 4?
I'm preparing for the pregame show. I go on the air at 7.
Where is the pregame show now?
I do it up in the booth. Yeah.
Yeah, we won't be. What time? 7.
You tailgating?
Yeah, Talia and I might. I mean, it's so cool there. Like we walked in at about 7 the other night.
I'm already talking on the radio at 7
You're
o'clock.
already up there at 7?
Yeah, I'm up there a lot earlier. Than that.
Well, obviously at 4.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're doing at 4 to 7.
I'm writing. I have work to do.
I feel like you've got like multiple attires that you're changing into.
No. This is it. This is what I got today. My finest purple.
Did your son clear you for that shirt today?
He doesn't.
He doesn't.
He doesn't grade my drip.
All right, good.
All right. Thank you very much for coming in. That's
so
Jeff
good
Goodman.
seeing you.
Field of 68. You should follow him on Twitter.
Love you, man.
I love you. I love you too.
Great seeing you.
Gosh.
Great seeing you.
All right, now we have to break because we're going to cry. We have to stretch and place bets. We'll do that next.
Talking sports, so you don't have to pretend to know stuff. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold here from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, down to the Final Four in the NBA. Can Indiana break through? Unlike last year. Can Minnesota break through? Unlike last year. Only one place to enhance your NBA conference final viewing. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. New customers, $200 to you in bonus bets, guaranteed when you place your first $5 wager. Doesn't even matter if you win it. FanDuel.com/AGS. FanDuel.com/AGS. Join today. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, you're more than a policy, you're family. With offices in every county, we're close by when it matters most. Our local agents customize coverage to fit your life. And our award-winning claims team delivers fast, quality repairs. It's no surprise Forbes ranked us the #1 auto insurer in America. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end. The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell Groom's Cake Ice Cream is renewing its vows on the frozen aisle. Milk chocolate ice cream with chocolate cake pieces, chocolate-coated strawberry hearts, swirls of strawberry sauce, and chocolate icing. See you at the reception.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
Have you ever heard of paramedics who don't just respond to emergencies, but work to prevent them? The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. Cape Fear Valley Health's Community Paramedic Program is a groundbreaking initiative where paramedics aren't just transporting patients, they're building bridges to better care, right from the patient's living room. Here's Cape Fear's Alinda Bailey.
We're not just asking, what's your medical emergency? We're asking, do you have problems obtaining your medicines? Can you get to your appointments? Are you safe? Are you supported? We try to identify not only the medical needs, the mental health needs, but also the social determinants that play a factor in the care of our patients and clients.
Join our latest Conversations on the State of Healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. And learn more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
Imagine a school where you could study AI and Ancient Egypt, become a National Honor Student, join a cooking club, or code the next big video game, and do it all in a comfortable space. Your own home. Welcome to NC Cyber Academy, a K-12 tuition-free virtual charter school that provides you with a flexible, personalized education designed to prepare you for college and a career. Visit myncca.com and discover a learning experience that works for you, your family, and your future.
One Adam Gold. One Adam Gold.
Because if interrupting is part of the talent, then she wins.
Giving an RBF face? Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I mean, everybody saw it.
I didn't say it.
That picture
did not say that.
When they were asking Bill and she interrupts him and they look at her, that's evil. Like, I was waiting for the lights to come out of her pupils.
You're not wrong.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria's on the ones and twos. That was fun with Jeff Goodman. Appreciate him stopping by. Diehard Caniac. Soft. Moved to Charleston from hard scrabble Boston. Awesome. It's funny how I didn't even realize he had become a Hurricanes fan.
Yeah.
And then, because I follow him on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
He's at a game.
Yeah.
Actually, he had texted me that he was coming to the game. Oh, I didn't even realize he's tweeting from the game.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
So, he's big time.
Wonder how he feels about Brad Marchand being with the Panthers since he's a Bruins fan.
Well, he was a Bruins fan. Now he's a Caniac. He don't care. He did not care anymore. So
he's done.
That was fun. All right, we have things to do. Ben Seltzer's going to run the numbers with us coming up at 2:15. Hopefully we've got good numbers, even though the Hurricanes rarely lose game one of a series at home. In fact, I don't believe that has happened in the Rod Brind'Amour era. The first game, it did happen. It happened 2 years ago to the Florida Panthers.
Ugh.
All right, I'm going to get rid of this out of my mind. Right now, let's stretch.
Well, I'll put this in your mind. I don't know if your son's done this. I read this article about a new fashion trend, and it immediately made me think of your son because he plays soccer.
He does.
So now, apparently, there's a new trend where people are wearing soccer cleats like everyday shoes.
What?
Like just to run errands?
No, I wouldn't. I mean, not cleats, but like the Adidas Sambas, which are like indoor soccer shoes.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I have a pair of them somewhere in the house.
I don't know if that's the same thing, but this, I'm sure it's probably from the TikToks or something. They're saying it's a viral sensation where it's hashtags hashtag boots only summer, whatever that means. And people are wearing, quote, boots, which also they're saying is the same as cleats, so they can, I don't know. I don't know if
they're
it's
called,
for, like,
your
attention.
soccer cleats are called your boots.
Okay. See things I don't know about soccer. So, yeah, that I don't know why this is a thing, where it came from, but if you see people walking around clickety-clacking wherever, in the Harris Teeter or something, it's because they're trying to be cool. So, I don't know. But you know what is cool? Making good bets.
I hope so.
Place your bets. Here we are. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you nothing.
All right, let's roll.
Woo! Okay, so I picked him last time to potentially get. Oh, I did do good with Draisaitl yesterday, even though
he did. He scored the first goal.
Right, and then they choked, but he did score the first one for plus 160. So I'm hoping that the same good juju can work for Taylor Hall tonight. Give me Taylor Hall anytime goal score plus 340.
All right. I feel good about it.
Okay.
Canes under 5.5 in overtime.
Whoa. Well,
plus 905.
We're due for at least one overtime, considering.
Yeah, it doesn't say how many.
Right.
It just says, will there be overtime? It should have, in parentheses, an S in it after that.
OTs.
Yeah.
Next up for me, goal in the first 10 minutes. I'm actually going to say no, because hopefully it's going to be a low-scoring game today, and maybe the Canes will be the only ones to score. So no goals in the first 10 minutes. That's plus 110.
I actually think Carolina needs to get a goal. They need to score first tonight. There is no doubt about that. All right, give me the Oklahoma City Thunder minus the 7 and over 217 tonight. I think Oklahoma City is going to roll again. Even though I like Minnesota in the series, I think the Thunder take a 2-0 lead in this series.
And last up, mine's kind of like yours, but minus the OT. So I'm going to take the Canes and the under 5.5, but that's it. So those two together is plus 200.
All right, you don't want the overtime. I don't want the overtime either, but I just feel like we're going to get it, and that makes me sad. All right, I'm done. I think I got shut out yesterday anyway, and nobody wants to hear my losing bets. And I lost that Europa final. too. Wall of Sound is next.
From the heels,
touchdown Carolina,
to the Canes.
She scores!
He covers it all. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, business owners out there, if you are looking for a great team-building experience or a treat for your employees, Adam Gold here for X Golf in Cary, North Carolina's premier indoor golf experience. Off US 64 in the McGregor Village Shopping Center, a great reward for your sales team for making budget, maybe a new spot for the office party, or hey, just take a long lunch and get in an emergency night at Pebble Beach. I'm telling you, off the charts. Great bar menu as well. Online, playxgolf.com/Cary.
Calling all Caniacs. Come watch the Eastern Conference Finals at Carolina Ale House. As the official Canes road game HQ, Carolina Ale House is hosting viewing parties for away games. Join us for indoor-outdoor viewing parties at the Cary and Garner locations for Game 3 and at the Cary location for Game 4. Bring a lawn chair, enjoy food and beers from the outdoor bar, and watch on our enormous TV. Visit CarolinaAlehouse.com/Canes to learn more or keep an eye on our social media. Ale yeah! And go Canes!
Tim Donnelly here, and I want to tell you about the coolest place in town. The Fox & Bailey Watch Shop, located inside Bailey's Fine Jewelry in their Village District location in Raleigh. Not only do they have the coolest selection of timepieces, we're talking pre-owned and vintage Rolexes, Hamilton, Norcane, and so much more, but they're also a vibe. Vinyl records playing, grab yourself a drink, and enjoy some great company. It's the Fox & Bailey Watch Shop. Luxury watches, men's jewelry, and unique gifts. Visit BaileyBox.com for more and cool out.
Stitches, itches, aches, and pains. Strep and sinus, minor sprains. Pink eye, earaches, fever, flu. Virtual visits, physicals too. At WakeMed MyCare 365, we offer both walk-in primary care and urgent care. So find the MyCare location nearest you at wakemed.org. Walk right in, and for just about anything from asthma, rashes, and examinations to x-rays, labs, and vaccinations, make MyCare your care.
Are your monthly bills keeping you up at night, wondering how you got so behind? Hey, I'm Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. I get it. Life is expensive now. Insurance, groceries, cars. And then there's the credit card debt with those obscene interest rates. It's time to regain your financial freedom, and that's what we offer at Loan Pronto using the power of the equity in your home. We have multiple ways to get you the cash you need, and most clients close in 2 weeks or less, and many don't even require an appraisal. And listen, rates have been plummeting recently. We just locked a homeowner in with an APR in the low fives, saving her over $1,000 per month, and put $10,000 in her pocket. Life-changing money. Whether you're drowning in debt, have a nosebleed rate you got last year, need home improvements, or simply need cash in your pocket, we can help you accomplish this goal in record time. Call us today and get started with no hard credit pull, just a conversation. LoanPronto.com, 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. That's LoanPronto.com.
Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
If you see something, why do you say something?
I see safe for my friends.
For my community.
For everyone here. We all have something worth protecting, a why that unifies us. Report suspicious activity to local authorities. If you see something, say something.
Memorial Day savings are here at the Home Depot. So take your kitchen to the next level with up to 35% off, plus up to an extra $450 off select appliances like LG. Plan your get-togethers with an LG refrigerator you can count on for years to come at the Home Depot. And with the connected ThinQ app, you'll know if the door is left open and when to change the filter. Spend less time worrying this Memorial Day with savings on LG, America's most reliable appliance brand at the Home Depot. Offer valid May 15th through June 4th, U.S. only. See store or online for details.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
You're listening to The Adam Gold Show.
And Granlund scores! From the right face-off circle, the Stars have erased a 2-goal deficit in the first 4 minutes of the third period. What a shot by Granlund. Duchesne to Haskinen, gets it over one-timer from Rantanen, and that one off the side of the net. Hintz is wiped out, and they score! It came in front, and Duchesne, I believe, gets the goal. Dallas has the lead. His first of the postseason. That's a shocking goal. Sagan and Steele into the Edmonton zone. Steele goes to the backhand. He scores! The Edmonton native, Sam Steele. And Dallas leads 5-3.
That was stunning last night. Absolutely stunning. But in some ways, and I say this knowing I have dear friends who are Knicks fans, and I feel for them. I mean, absolutely box office. I begged for Reggie Miller to be on the series. Well, Game 1, TNT, Kevin Harlan, and Reggie Miller. So Reggie Miller, at the scene of his greatest ever victory, which I think it was Game 7 of the 95 Eastern Conference semifinals, second round series, when the Pacers won at Madison Square Garden, where he scored 8 points in 9 seconds. Yeah.
That's a lot real fast.
8 points in 9 seconds. The Knicks gave up, I believe last night, 23 points in the last 2 minutes. Something like that. Or last 3.5. I think it was 23 points in the last 3.5 minutes. That's hard. That's difficult to do. Stunning what happened. But at the same time, glorious. whether or not the Knicks are going to come back and win the series, man, they played very poorly down the stretch. Now, the highlight we heard on the way back, and this is the Adam Gold Show. I am him. Victoria is here. If you're just tuning in, you missed Kyle Bukauskas from SportsNet in Canada. He's here, cover the Eastern Conference Finals. Eddie Olczyk, TNT Sports, obviously NHL, also big horse racing guy. I gave him a horse racing analogy. Who else have we had? Jeff Goodman, who was in studio for about 25 minutes, and he's a huge Caniac, so we talked about the Canes, talked about how he became a Hurricanes fan, and then we talked a little hoops. We touched on all three of the schools. If you're a State fan, you should feel very good about things.
UNC fan, not so much.
Yeah, he's not as bullish on the current state of play at UNC, but he also said, who knows? You just don't know. All right. But I do want to get to what we saw last night in Dallas was one of those, where did that come from? Well, it came from 3 power play goals in a row. Dallas had a power play hanging over from the second period into the third, scored right away on that. Then Edmonton took another penalty. Edmonton was super undisciplined last night.
Big time.
And 3 power plays right away, 3 goals.
It was nuts.
All of a sudden, the Stars are in the lead. Then they get the 5th one also pretty quickly.
Right. I mean, if your defensemen aren't going to help you, then get out of the way so the goalie can see the puck coming at him.
Didn't we just say that? I said that Tuesday. Like, Scott.
Yeah.
Do better. Or do less.
Right.
Right? Do less.
Pick one. But what you're doing didn't work.
Yeah, exactly. So Dallas is 1-0 up over Edmonton, which is good because this is what we all want. We want Hurricanes to advance, but we want them to advance and play Dallas, don't we?
I think so. Maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
Come on.
Because if we want the Canes to win, the Oilers, like we see, have a tendency to choke.
Yeah, but they also have a tendency to rally.
Yeah.
They should have lost the series to L.A.
True.
Absolutely should have lost the series to L.A.
Mm-hmm.
And Vegas, I believe, early in that series, had leads early in games and gave them away. Edmonton has a way of hanging around and then letting the best players on earth take over.
Right.
Even though they have not scored a lot of goals in these playoffs. Connor McDavid has not scored a ton of goals.
No.
Draisaitl, I believe, scored his 3rd?
I think so.
3rd or 4th last night. By the way, Mikko Rantanen only had 1 assist during that barrage in the 3rd period. Scored 5 goals in the 3rd period.
He was quiet.
He has been quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Almost all of his production came in a 5-game stretch. There's a lot of production in those 5 games.
Maybe he spent it all.
Almost all of it came in that 5-game stretch. All right. 2 tonight at Lenovo Center. I nearly called it PNC Arena.
I know. I do it too sometimes.
I could call it the Entertainment and Sports Arena.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still the same building.
I think the Lenny, though, is sticking. The nicknames, remember we went over the nicknames?
Right.
I think Lenny is sticking.
The Lenny is very good. It's better than the Big ThinkPad, but which is what I tried.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Lenny is very good. So, is tonight a must-win? Yeah, it's a must-win. It's all right to say that. Does Carolina have to get the first goal? I mean, they don't have to, but it makes your job harder if you don't. Could Carolina win a game where they don't score the first goal? Well, in this series, in these playoffs, Carolina's been about 50-50 when they don't score the first goal. That's better than most teams, but it's still not the way you want to go about it. The Hurricanes need a good start that produces a goal. They need to get in front of the game. And if they do that, they can beat Florida. But they have to do that. And far be it from me to agree with Eddie Olczyk. I had heard about what he had said, and I don't know how he said it on Tuesday because I was otherwise occupied. not watching the TNT coverage. But he's right in that if Carolina goes too far out of their way to beat Florida to the physicality, then they run the risk of being out of position, essentially, and that's when other problems draw in. Now, I can't speak to, a specific situation where this happened, but I understand the point. And having talked to Rod Brind'Amour, I talked to Logan Stankoven for the pregame show, and I asked them both the same question. What has to be better? What has to be different? Actually, I think I said what has to be different about this game. And Rod answered the question, the outcome. He said, but we should play the same way. Stankoven said the same thing. Don't change anything about the way we played. Now, here is one thing I would change. And I don't know the best way to go about it because Florida presents defensive problems that Washington didn't present, that the New Jersey Devils didn't present. And I said this in the pregame show on Tuesday. The Florida Panthers aren't the New Jersey Devils, and they aren't the Washington Capitals. This right here, this opponent standing in your way of getting to the Stanley Cup Finals is the gold standard of the sport today.
Legit.
Right? So here we get to narratives, right? And the narratives that bother me in that we seem to be forgetting. It's not all about Carolina. That team is elite. It is the best team. Now, that doesn't excuse you to the point where you can get swept, right? So don't for 1 second think that I am giving the Hurricanes a pass.
Yeah.
But if you want to change the narratives, and the narratives for me are lazy, Canes can't win on the road. No, that's a lazy narrative.
Not true.
They're first of all, they have won on the road.
Mm-hmm.
They are, I believe, 3-3 on the road in these playoffs. And to me, over this Rod Brind'Amour era, the can't win on the road in the playoffs really was born in 1 year. It was the 2022 playoffs. That doesn't mean that the Hurricanes have been road killers, but they certainly have not been disasters away from home. But the whole Canes are now on a 13-game Eastern Conference Finals losing streak. Well, that is factual. But if we want to be intellectually dishonest, we can talk about the Hurricanes have lost 13 straight conference finals games. The 2009 team has nothing to do with that, right? 2009, other than their 4 of the losses. I would argue that 2019 doesn't have anything to do with this team. Now, I also think that 2023 does matter. It's the same core of players to an extent, but it's still Aho, Jarvis, Svechnikov. Well, Svechnikov didn't play in it, but he's part of the team. Stahl, Martinook, right? Slavin. It's still this group. Brent Burns, he's part of it. I think Jalen Chatfield was playing in the playoffs at that point. So the Hurricanes have the scar tissue of 2023 does matter. It doesn't all not matter. Part of it matters, but they're rolling with this like, my gosh, they haven't won. Why don't we just do this? If we're going to be so dumb about it and lazy about it, why don't we just say, man, it's been 19 years since the Hurricanes have won an Eastern Conference Finals game.
Right.
19 years. That's an eternity. Or this would be better. Add up the number of days.
Oh, yes.
June 1st, 2006, I believe was the date where the Hurricanes last won a conference conference finals game. They beat Buffalo in Game 7 of 2006. I don't know how many days. Are you doing a search for how many days it's been?
Yeah, trying to calculate the Canes calculator.
It's been. I can't even do the math. This is 19 years, right? This is the 19th year. So 19 times 365. I don't know. So the narratives, the laziness.
Oh, here we go.
Bothers me.
6,935.
6,935 days.
Almost 7,000 days.
Since the Hurricanes have last won a conference championship game. I think we have amazing people in the national media that cover the NHL. I am not disparaging any single one of them. And it's hard to not follow a team closely all year and come in and write cogently about the team and what they're doing or not doing, blah, blah, blah. It's hard to do it. So this is not a slam. But, man, it's tiresome. And it's flat incorrect. 2023 matters. No doubt about it. And I think the team would be crazy to think that it doesn't matter. What happened 2 years ago absolutely does. So with that said, this team is going to have to figure out a way to win a hockey game tonight. Because if they don't, it's going to become deafening. The amount of hot takes you're going to... Team just allergic to winning in the conference finals.
Kane's
Meanwhile,
Twitter is going to be crazy.
Kane's Twitter is Kane's Twitter.
Yeah.
I haven't made my peace with it, but I'm going to do my best to kind of ignore it. And they're going to be mad tonight because if Jalen Chatfield can't go,
Morrow's in.
It will be Scott Morrow tonight.
I know. I've seen people in the chat say, "Yeah, if he's in, I'm not. I'm selling my tickets."
Rod doesn't want to win. No. This
Rod.
is. I read this.
Wow.
If he doesn't play Nikishin, he doesn't want to win.
Okay.
Rod has Florida at plus 112 in the money line tonight.
Exactly.
That's why he's playing Morrow.
Right.
It's the only reasonable explanation
Whole
I can come up with.
Whole retirement's there.
So, here's the thing. Hurricanes are good enough to beat the Florida Panthers. We'll see if they're good enough to beat the Florida Panthers in this series. But they are good enough to beat them. They have beaten them, just not in this setting. But their path to beating them is a little bit more narrow than Florida's path to beating Carolina. Because the one thing that people do not want to admit, even Hurricanes fans, is that while the two styles are fairly similar, Florida tries to get pucks in deep and forecheck the snot out of you. And they're heavier than Carolina. They're meaner than Carolina. What Florida does is they make you pay for your mistakes, and they make you pay at far more spots in their lineup than Carolina's. Because if you noticed yesterday, or rather on Tuesday, the best players didn't hurt Carolina at 5-on-5. It was the other guys that hurt Carolina at 5-on-5. It's a very tall order, but they can do it. Need the first goal, and you need to get to your game. Get to your forecheck before Florida gets to theirs. And then hope you don't get Bobrovski'd. All right, we'll break. When we come back, I went too long. We're going to run the numbers. I treated Ben like he doesn't have other stuff to do. Ben Seltzer is going to come in. We're going to run the numbers and talk Game 2 next.
Making more sports sense than social media trolls. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
It's the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Here's Svechnikov, 2 minutes remaining. Svechnikov puts up angle, he scores!
Let's go, Kane!
Hall, all alone, in on Thompson. Hall scores!
Go Canes!
Wide open, rebound, and what a save by Anderson!
The Canes' road to the Stanley Cup runs through us. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friend Gordon Miller, Miller Lending, Kildare Farm Road in Cary. A man who, several years ago, because I can't do the math, it happened in 1987, invented the no closing cost mortgage, figuring homeowners could probably use to keep thousands of dollars of their own money in their accounts and put it towards things that they need. Especially if you're a first-time home buyer, there's a lot of stuff you're going to need, and $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, depending on the size of your home loan, that'll come in handy. If you give it to the bank, all you're really getting out of it is $50 a month less on your mortgage payment. That's all well and good, but are you willing to pay $5,000 to save $50 a month? And frankly, the math doesn't add up, because what you're betting on is that the rates will not drop over an 8-year period. That's the break-even point. Miller Lending on Kildare Farm Road in Cary. Don't ever pay closing costs. They are an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 2502146.
Support for The Fan comes from Paramount Pictures presenting Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. Every choice, every mission has led to this. Tom Cruise is back as Ethan Hunt in his most challenging mission yet. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, only in theaters and IMAX on May 23rd. Listen afternoons during The Drive with Tim Donnelly this week to win a Fandango gift card to witness the action and adventure on the biggest screen possible. Don't miss your chance to see the movie of the summer.
Hello, I'm Joe Cordell, founder of Cordell & Cordell. Divorce is complicated, especially when your small business or professional practice is involved. At Cordell & Cordell, we understand that these assets raise unique valuation and allocation issues. For 35 years, we've helped doctors, lawyers, and small business owners navigate divorce with confidence. Call us at Cordell & Cordell. Let me tell you, I understand on a personal level, your business is much more than a job. It's your legacy.
Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois. CordellCordell.com.
What? New scratch-offs are out? That means new chances to become a North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club member.
Yeah, in the Winners Club, I'll reinvent myself. I won't go by just plain Todd. I'll go by Toddrick. I'll get a gold jacket, play my saxophone again. I'll stop and smell the flowers, call my mom more.
Oh, wrap it up, Todd.
It's Toddrick.
This month's scratch-offs pack over $100 million in total prizes. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1-3.35 to 4.58. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Is going to your local bar the worst part of your day? The bartender ignores you, mediocre food, warm beer? Then why go there? Take 5 minutes and drop in at Sharky's, where they'll give you a free evaluation, and you can learn about all the bars that you shouldn't go to. Sharky's has helped thousands find the right bar to hang at. What are you waiting for? Sharky's evaluation could be the cure to the worst part of your day. Change your bar, change your life. Sharky's, 5800 Durley Road by the Shell Station.
When you think of hot, you might think about the tragic time you ate too much wasabi. Or about getting into your car on a summer day when it feels more like stepping into a sauna. But heat can work in your favor, like during Verizon Red Hot Deal Days. Get hundreds of hot deals on all your favorites, like iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence, Apple Watch Series 10, and iPad, on any plan. Only until May 28th for new and existing customers. Offer available on My Plan. Only at Verizon.
This is Adam Gold.
He said he could talk about his golf game. He did say it wasn't great, and I said, hey, no judgment here. I'm a drive shacker and a putt putter myself.
None of us are good. Even those of us that are good aren't really good.
Right, yeah.
We're just not.
Yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
Hi, it's Adam Gold. This is the Adam Gold Show. I just said I am the Adam Gold Show. And whether that's true or not, it's dumb.
Well, you are the Adam Gold, so I guess there's that.
Yes. Yes. I mean, no matter who you are, if your name is Adam Gold, you are the Adam Gold.
The Adam Gold.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
The answer is yes. But anyway, Ben Seltzer is here. By the way, that was Victoria. We're going to run the numbers with Ben as we get ready for Game 2. First, vibe check. Do you have a good feeling about tonight? Lie to me. Lie to me.
Well, you want to start off with positive numbers? Because in that case, I do.
No, I need your vibe. I need your vibe. Don't give me numbers. Give me a vibe, Ben.
I feel great if Chatfield's in the lineup.
Okay.
I feel okay if he's not.
Okay. All right.
I like the bounce back, and we could jump into that.
All right, let's jump into the bounce back.
All right.
Because I need some positivity.
So I was looking, just spin it forward, just looking for something positive here for Carolina. Looking at, because they've been dominant at home.
Yes.
So looking at their response after a home loss. So now we're not looking at like home loss and then they go on a 2-game road trip. We're looking home loss, immediate next game, back at home.
Okay.
This past season, 6-0-0.
6-0-0.
After a home loss, next game at home.
Post-home loss.
Yeah.
All right.
In those 6 games, 3.83 goals per game, 1.83 goals against, 90% PK, which you really need.
Yes.
Because Florida, they won the special teams in game 1.
They did.
And outshot their opponents by an average of 30-21. So
okay, that's
it's
normal.
a good response.
Right. Yeah.
It's a really good response. Digging a little deeper, looking at those players, those key players that you need Carolina to step up in. They got the first goal from those 3 key contributors, but looking at those 6 games, after home loss, next game they win, Sebastian Aho, 5 goals, 4 assists.
Oh, boy.
2 game winners. Seth Jarvis, 4 goals, 4 assists. Andrei Svechnikov, 2 goals, 5 assists. So it's a really good response from
that line.
From your superstars, which is what you need. You need them to. You've said it before. You need these guys to beat Florida. That's it, and they've responded after these home losses.
So I'm expecting 2 goals out of that line tonight.
Yeah, and I mean just as playoffs. They've lost twice. Immediate response. They've won. Andrei Svechnikov was the key.
Okay.
4 goals, 2 game winners in those 2 responses. Going back to 2024, it's in his DNA. Fresh off a loss, 6 games, 6 goals, 2 assists. So
okay.
I would key in on him.
All right. Andre.
Yeah.
Lead us. Lead us to the promised land, which is just a win in the conference finals.
You've been harking on it for a while. It's been a while.
June
1st, you said, right? 06? I was getting ready to graduate high school.
Almost 7,000 days. Almost 7,000 days since the Hurricanes last won a conference finals game.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I hate intellectual dishonesty. I just do. It bothers me because there are a lot of things you could say about why Carolina hasn't beaten Florida. Yeah. Starting with Florida's better. We could just say that, and nobody would go, "You're wrong." Not a single no Hurricanes fans would say that.
Right.
Like, Florida's they're better. Okay. Right? But we don't have to
bring up
the
defending champs, right?
We don't have to bring up 09. 09 has nothing to do with now.
Listen, it's a big number.
Yeah.
It's you look at it, 0 for the last 13. That's what you look in, but like keying into what you say, you could really, really take into account the 2023 team. You can't really take into
That's it.
2019 is different.
I think 2023 matters.
Is way different, but you're just keying in on the number. You're not really keying in on the personnel. If you're keying in on the personnel, you do 2023. That's it.
And then if you really want to throw 19 in, fine, I can live with it, but there's
that
not a lot
was
of
the
players
rise of this era.
Yeah.
So maybe
5 players.
I wouldn't.
5 players played in 19.
Yeah,
that are on this team now.
Totally different team.
Yeah. All right, those were positives.
Yeah.
Do you have no negative numbers, do you?
No negative numbers, more of a discussion.
Okay.
Jalen Chatfield, if he's in, great. If he's not, I've heard you say it on the Canes Corner podcast, like, they should have went out and got a D-man for depth.
Yes.
Like, that was a bad calculus.
I said even 2.
Yeah. These teams, when they know they're in the playoffs, they load up on depth defensemen going for the playoff run. To assume that all your guys will be healthy is a mistake.
Right. You know what?
Everyone's dealing with injuries, and you hear it afterwards after a team gets eliminated. Like, oh, this guy has a shoulder injury.
Yeah.
This guy has this.
Going for surgery.
Yeah.
You know, last year, Colorado added a defenseman from Philadelphia in a deadline trade.
Right.
And then I think there were times during the playoffs where he was a healthy scratch. You know what his name is?
Sean Walker?
Yep. Yep.
That guy sounds familiar.
Now,
right?
he's been awesome.
Yeah.
Right? But I'm just saying that every team goes out and strengthens their blue line.
But it's a premium. I believe Philly got a first-round pick in return for that. So it's a matter of what your comfort
Walker was
is.
also a much higher elevated player.
Yeah.
Like, you could go out and get a third-line right shot guy who plays 15 minutes a night in the NHL.
Sure.
But he's an NHL player. The Hurricanes are not putting an NHL player on the ice in place of Jalen Chatfield, and that's been my larger point.
Yeah, I mean, they could have got a depth guy.
Yeah.
Just looking at 7 days, a week prior to the deadline, Vinny Desharnais was traded. Good seventh defenseman.
Yeah.
Henry Jokiharju, Eric Johnson.
I like Jokiharju.
Yeah. He went to Boston, not in the playoffs. Calvin DeHaan. New Jersey
we've had him twice.
New Jersey had Dennis Cholowski. They had to use him. I mean, not the ideal guy, but he's played in the NHL. You could have won
Riley Stillman is here. He has played in the NHL too.
Sure. You could have won a mid-tier guy. Carson Soucy, Ryan Lindgren, Brian Dumoulin, Luke Shen. The higher tech guys, first-round picks and
they would never do that.
Prospect. I mean, that was the Seth Jones, that was the Brendan Carlo, that was the Jake Wallman. I mean, 3 of the 4 conference finalists picked up defensemen, whether it was at the deadline or, Dallas picked up theirs back in February, Cody Ceci, and he's been useful for them.
He has been.
They needed a body because Heiskanen was out.
Yeah.
So this is not something you want to do.
Yeah, the Hurricanes were never going to shop on those aisles.
Sure, but there was depth options.
Depth they should have
or mid-tier options that you have draft picks. You use them. Jankowski costs what? A mid-round pick.
5th round pick, I think.
You could have got one of those depth guys.
Why can't Mark Jankowski play defense? I'm kidding.
In the playoffs, including the playoffs, Nikishin and Morrow combined 18 games. Typically, they say, defensemen, they
and
don't
Nikishin
really get
had none of them.
Exactly.
Or are we
including the
the
playoffs?
2 playoff
He has
games?
the one.
Right.
So it's mostly Morrow here. But typically they say defensemen don't get acclimated into the NHL until they play 150, 200 games. So it's not great that your next best option is Morrow or Nikishin to step up. I mean, I know I always bring it back to the Devils, but last year they had Luke Hughes and Simone Nemec who were competing for a spot entering the regular season. Both high-end guys.
Yeah.
You don't want both of them playing at the same time. So Luke Hughes won that battle, and, they were going out the season with that. Dougie Hamilton gets hurt. So then they were forced to put in Nemec. And you have 2 high-end guys, 2 rookie defensemen, not ideal, poor goaltending, poor defense, and they didn't make the playoffs.
Right.
So you kind of get what you pay for. The best laid plans just blew up in their face. They weren't expecting Dougie to get injured. And it's you could say Nikishin, throw him in. He's been lighting it up in the KHL, but we've said this before. It's the KHL is not the best league in the world.
Right. It might be the second, but it might not even be the second. The AHL might be the second best league in the world.
Sure. And this is what it is. You played the one game, you looked iffy, had a great shot, but you don't want to experiment in the playoffs.
No. And Rod is he is scared to death of the lack of communication.
That's warranted,
Mm-hmm. I think above all else, he is terrified that they can't communicate on the ice. It's a big summer for Nikishin to come back and learn enough English to be able to use.
Fans don't see that. You don't really hear that on the broadcast. You can't really hear that in the rink.
Right.
They're talking to their defense partner, or they're talking to forwards, they're talking to their goalie.
Like, teach Freddie some Russian.
That'll be nice,
I'm not
right?
joking. Teach Freddie some Russian. And
they're learning a new system.
Yeah.
Smaller rink most of the time. These, the Europeans that come over to play.
Okay.
So it's different. And it's not the time. Playoffs are not the time to relearn this. There's lone exceptions. And these guys aren't Cal McCarr. They're not Quinn Hughes.
Right.
They're not Miro Heiskanen. I mean, they're great defensive prospects, but they are not those class.
You just
not
said,
yet, at least.
You just said the most important word to this, and that is prospects. And everybody overrates prospects. Everybody does it. We think they're going to be incredible.
Right.
Prospects take time.
Yes.
Defensive prospects generally take more time.
Yes.
Cale Makar is the rare college to the NHL. Oh,
he debuted in the playoffs and scored a goal in his first playoff game.
But you could tell right from the get-go that he was different.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Alexander Nikishin, while a super prospect, did not step on the ice and you went, oh my gosh. Nope. He was just there. He looked like a prospect.
Right.
He looked like somebody who didn't know what he was doing. And that's understandable. It's not a knock.
Hey, they would still be, Nikishin obviously, but Scott Morrow, if he's on the team next year, he would still be Calder eligible.
Yes.
Like there's...
Yeah. And he has a chance to make the team next year.
To your point, he's still a prospect.
Yeah.
Nothing's changing between these few playoff games and next year, you know? So it's not ideal that your next two best options are fellow prospects. And I'm not diminishing them at all. They should be great NHLers, but they're not ready for this moment in playoffs right now.
So you said Svechnikov hat trick. Aho 4 assists and a goal.
Just a common game tonight?
Tonight. I'm making it up.
That's your over right there for your bet.
I am way over for the bet.
Fade him.
All right. Anything else from Ben Seltzer as we run the numbers? That's it.
Panthers really good on the road.
They're tremendous. Yes.
Yeah.
4.75
goals per game. 7 minimum games on the road. Good healthy run.
Yeah.
It would be the second highest total in a single playoff season just on the road, behind the 85 Blackhawks. 5.14 goals per game.
What, 5.14 goals per game on the road? It was the 80s. The goalies were basically out there naked.
Yeah. I don't think Darren Pang was on the other side. Yeah.
Oh, man. Thank you very much. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll come back, and we will rewind. That was Ben Seltzer. We ran the numbers. Says up there, Ben the stat guy. We'll come back and rewind next.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
It's not about the cars, the speed, the action. It's not about the party or the long weekend. It's about them, the ones that gave everything. This Memorial Day weekend, we honor the fallen at America's Home for Racing.
The 66th running of the Coca-Cola 600.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell Groom's Cake Ice Cream is renewing its vows on the frozen aisle. Milk chocolate ice cream with chocolate cake pieces, chocolate-coated strawberry hearts, swirls of strawberry sauce, and chocolate icing. See you at the reception.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
Have you ever heard of paramedics who don't just respond to emergencies, but work to prevent them? The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. Cape Fear Valley Health's Community Paramedic Program is a groundbreaking initiative where paramedics aren't just transporting patients, they're building bridges to better care, right from the patient's living room. Here's Cape Fear's Alinda Bailey.
We're not just asking, what's your medical emergency? We're asking, do you have problems obtaining your medicines? Can you get to your appointments? Are you safe? Are you supported? We try to identify not only the medical needs, the mental health needs, but also the social determinants that play a factor in the care of our patients and clients.
Join our latest Conversations on the State of Healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcast, and learn more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
Here at NC Cyber Academy, screens are a good thing. At our K-12 tuition-free virtual charter school, your child can find a flexible and personalized education that lets them take a brain break when they need it, but also provides structured one-on-one time with our amazing teachers. But we also power down our laptops for in-person activities with fellow students to build community. Visit myncca.com to learn how we can set your child up for success in the classroom, at college, and in their careers.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, you're more than a policy, you're family. With offices in every county, we're close by when it matters most. Our local agents customize coverage to fit your life. And our award-winning claims team delivers fast, quality repairs. It's no surprise Forbes ranked us the #1 auto insurer in America. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
The Body Armor State Games are coming to Greensboro this June. Registration is open to athletes of all ages and skill levels in 20 different sports. The Body Armor State Games feature 11,000 athletes and 600 teams. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Visit bodyarmorstategames.org today. That's bodyarmorstategames.org. The Body Armor State Games are proud to partner with Truist, Lowe's Foods, and Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina.
This is Adam Gold.
I told Tim, who does the afternoon show, I said, I'm about to turn this game around. We need Cheez-Its. So I went to go get magical Lucky Cheez-Its, and guess what? Boom. Period 2, tied it up. And then at the end of the game, I still had like 8 Cheez-Its in the cup left, and I said, Lucky Cheez-Its.
There you go. The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria, producing the program. We thank Ben Seltzer for coming in and running the numbers. I'm optimistic now. 6-0-0 after a home loss when your next game is also at home. That sounds good.
It does. Oh. Well, I'll bring the Cheez-Its.
They didn't work last time. Maybe you should try a different snack cracker.
I got to try. It's the timing. I think I figured out it's the timing.
When do the Cheez-Its have to be broken out?
They have to be losing. I was a little too quick.
Oh, okay.
So I jumped the gun a little bit, and I got them before anyone had scored.
So are you saying you want the Hurricanes to be losing?
They're clutch. The Cheez-Its.
Oh, it's like a rally cap.
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly.
The Angels, I don't know how many years ago this is, had a rally monkey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well,
they're one of those.
Cheez-Its are my monkey.
Okay.
You never know what you're going to get here.
So, yeah, they need the first goal.
Yes, they
Hurricanes have to get in front of the game.
I don't want them to chase.
Otherwise, Florida's just the wrong team to chase. That's the thing about it.
Yeah.
They are so good, but the Hurricanes can get it. If you go back and you watch Game 1 again, you'll see in the first six minutes or so until, who was it? Was it Bennett that took the penalty? Whoever took the penalty. I think it was Bennett, but it doesn't really matter. whoever took that first penalty, Carolina got to the power play first. Wasn't a bad power play. Carolina had some chances in the power play. They didn't score. They had the 2-on-1 with Aho. They had another couple of chances. Then they got the power play. And then everybody has admitted it. It's a bad call, but it was a call. Moving on. Hurricanes couldn't kill that penalty. Game changed right there.
Mm-hmm.
That was a game-changing moment. We talk about moments. Keep an eye on these tonight. When you could tell, oh, that was one we could have had, right? Somebody misses the net. Somebody has a great opportunity in front, hits Bobrovsky right in the Panther or the Florida, right? You're not putting a puck through Bobrovsky's chest.
No.
You got to pick corners. You got to be just inside the pipe. All of those things. Look at Florida's goals, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, near post, far post, just inside. You got to miss the goalie.
Yeah. And doesn't Bob have like a weakness? Isn't it like the high left or high right?
It's
like the
glove side elbow.
Yeah.
So you go, it's kind of like rib cage, bottom of your rib cage, kind of tight to the body.
Tickle spot.
Very good. Tickle him. Tickle Bobrovsky. He'll be laughing too hard
There you go.
to stand on his head. All right, let's rewind. All right, let's before we do this, I started the show with this, so I just want to bring it up one more time because I know there are we have these. It's not a phobia, but it is. We don't want college sports to become what college sports has always been, or not always been, but has certainly been for the last decade and a half, maybe 2 decades, and that is really professional sports. We don't want that. But UNC has been looking into naming rights for Kenan Stadium. We're talking about a corporate name on Kenan Stadium. And I know this sounds awful to people, but I would point out, I'll just ask this question. Where does NC State play their home basketball games? The Lenovo Center.
Yep, the Lenny.
Now, they share a building with a professional hockey team. So it's not like, well, for basketball, when State plays there, we're just going to call it Valvano Court. We're not going to call it Lenovo Center. Hey, look, NC State gets a chunk of that revenue too, right?
Right.
So, I don't know what percentage. It might be a small one. I really don't know. But this is the wave of the future, and as college sports becomes more and more professionalized, more so than it's ever been, even though it's been a pro sport for a long time. You need revenue. Sell everything. Everything. I would sell every 10-yard increment on a football field, and I would even color the turf if I had an artificial turf field, or not. Even if I had a natural grass field, I would color each 10-yard increment in the logo color of that company.
Right.
I would do it.
Yeah, why not?
So if it's KFC, one of the 10-yard blocks would be red and white stripes.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Whatever.
Take it to the bucket.
I don't care. There you go. Very nice.
Right.
It's football.
Yeah.
What are we doing there?
I know. That's true.
We got to be better
mix
than
it up.
that. So, I just don't care. Squeeze as much money out of this as you can.
Orange juice. There you go. That'll be another sponsor.
Tropicana is between the 20 and the 30, and that's
Right.
all orange.
Yep. There you go. Boom.
And a picture of Julia Bryant. Some of you will know who I'm talking about. I actually don't even know if that was Tropicana. All right, now let's get to the rewind. We talked to Eddie Olczyk from TNT. He is, of course, analyst. He'll be there with Brian Boucher, Hurricanes legend, and Kenny Albert tonight. And he is a big horse racing guy. And I thought that the Hurricanes will be a lot like journalism, not just tonight, but big picture in the series. Tough going at first, and then you kind of figure it out, squeeze through some physicality, and maybe you can catch and win at the wire. I asked Eddie if he could get with that analogy.
This is a different animal in these playoffs. It's not the Devils, not the Capitals.
Yep.
It's the defending Stanley Cup champions, but even stylistically and the depth and the size and the urgency and the goaltender and the physicality, and then also, Florida wants, you want to play an 8-7 game, they'll love to do that. They can play that. If you want to play 2-1 or you want to play a punch them in the mouth, I mean, they're going to be first in line in that type of game. So I think for the Canes, I thought that, they came out and I think that they drew a line in the sand and they were really physical. And I think that they ran out of position. I shouldn't say run out of position. I think that they took some runs at some guys physically, which is fine, which is A-okay. But I don't think that that's how one of the top coaches in the league, and Rod Brind'Amour, has gotten his team to be as predictable and as good and as stylistically that they play. Like, if the hits are there, you want your guys that are physical to go ahead and bang people and, and get in people's way and whatever. But it just felt from up top, watching the press box, that there were times where I think you could have maybe, I want to say played a little bit more, but, don't worry about the physicality. Just use your legs, use your money makers to get in on the forecheck and play that type of game to your strength. So, because I think that feeds right into Florida if you're going to try to run around, and I don't think that that's how this team has been built, whether it was the legendary Ron Francis in charge and having a strong, fingerprint on this organization all these years later, or now with Eric Tolsky and the entire organization, is that you have to play to your identity. And I think at times early the other night, I think that it played into the hands of the Florida Panthers. And then as the game went on, the Canes got to their game and had some chances and kept Florida off the shot clock for a long period of time. So you're going to have potholes, you're going to have adversity, you're going to have horses in front of you, and you're just going to have to fight your way through it and hope that one of your big time players can make a big time play at the key time and get a save. And that's what hockey is. And I think for Carolina, I think the analogy is very fair with the trip that journalism had into Preakness. You could say the other night was very similar, and they weren't able to to find the wire first, but they are the favorite in this game tonight, and I would expect them to come with a big push and give their best, put their best skate forward. And look, it might not be good enough, Adam. It just might not. I mean, this is playoff hockey, and right now Florida's got it going on, and the guy in goal for them is seeing it, and after a really slow start in the last round against Toronto.
Yeah, it might not work. You could play a great game and lose. It's unfortunate, and we've seen it before. But I asked Rod Brind'Amour today what needs to be different tonight, and he said the result. So it is by any means necessary tonight. But Carolina always starts with getting to their game. So it's got to be a good forecheck night tonight. Must be. If it's not, probably won't work out. Florida's got too many ways to beat you. And that's the difference, really, between these two teams. Carolina's got depth, and very good depth. Florida's depth is different. Kyle Bukauskas joined us from SportsNet and Hockey Night in Canada. Broad brush, thoughts on Game 1?
Well, I mean, it was kind of a similar feeling to, working the series when they played Florida in the conference final 2 years ago, where you look at how they played and go to really pick apart and be critical of. But, you look at, they didn't give up a ton of chances to Florida. The difference was, like, when the Panthers got their opportunities, they capitalized. And I'm not even looking at really any of them, and you're saying, well, that was the goal that Frederick Anderson, you can't give up that one. Like, they were elite level finishes in most cases, or through a screen, different things like that. The challenge, I think, as this series goes on, and I think what a lot of us thought going in is that when those opportunities pop up for Carolina, like you can't let them slide. Like you've got to be able to convert, knowing how difficult this is going to be and how well defensively Florida plays, and of course the goalie they have and their end of things. Like Bobrovsky's going to have a say in all of this too. So it's a tall task, and you could just tell, like in listening to Brind'Amour there, whether it's at the podium and or the conversations we have just in the right shoulder chat after the fact. Like he's just going like there's not much else you can do as a coach. You think you prepared him well. You've got a system that's worked all year for this group. Just those that are paid to score and deliver in these moments, just got to find a way to do that enough.
Yep, that's how it works. It's just, honestly, take advantage. Like if Aho and Jarvis had combined on a goal. I asked Eddie about that play. He said, yeah, if Aho had passed it sooner, then it changes the whole dynamic. And that is an area, and I look, Hurricanes fans have been, I think, correctly critical even of Carolina's best player. Aho, not great on breakaways. It's why we don't see him in a shootout. Carolina, breakaway, odd man rushes, not great. That is an area offensively that this team needs to be better.
Yeah.
To take another step.
I would say Taylor Hall's maybe the best at doing that. Sometimes he's really fast.
I think Seth Jarvis is the best player on the team at finishing those types of chances. I think Jarvis is a natural goal scorer.
I mean, he almost did it sliding on his butt.
That is true.
That would have been fantastic.
That is absolutely true. So that to me, that's what's got to happen. We need that. But take advantage of your chances. As we say among all of my football, meaning soccer, friends, take your chances. Because when you do, like you don't want to be the XG, meaning expected goals. You don't want to win that category. You want to win the AG category. You want to win the actual goals category. Because when you talk about expected goals, it only matters if they become goals. So, also, this was brought up, and probably should have talked about it more. Andrei Svechnikov and Shane Gostisbehere will have targets on their backs tonight.